Good evening, everybody. Welcome to KUMBTV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are here for Crystal Palace versus West Ham United. West Ham's 20th Premier League outing of the current campaign. The Hammers, of course, sitting pretty. 7th in the Premier League as we speak, 32 points from 19 games, with a possibility to go, no, let's not say it, a little bit higher should we win tonight. We are running a little bit late, as usual, as we are every week. So we're going to go straight into tonight's lineups. Before I do that, let me just say hello to the rest of the team. I'm joined here tonight by the Pink Palermo, to Gnome, and also Rio. Bristol Hammer back on the subs bench tonight, but I think he's tuning in from afar. Gnome, over to you. Let's get cracking straight away with those teams, please, buddy.
Yeah, evening. It's much as we've got here. It's a bit of a return to the league side for this one. We line up as follows: Fabianski, Kufal or Sufal, Dawson, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Souček, Rice, Fornals, Bowen, Benrahma and Antonio. On the bench we have Balbuena, Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Noble, Diop, Fredericks, Martin, Johnson and Odubeku. For the home side, Palace, they line up as follows: Guaita, Ward, Kuyate, Cahill, Mitchell, Townsend, MacArthur, Miljojevic, Etse, Bentake, Zaha. And on the bench they've got Butland, Van Aanholt, Dan, Ayew, Klein, McCarthy, Batshuayi, Kelly and Riedewald. So no sign of Tompkins, but Kuyate returns to their starting lineup of the ex-Hammers. And there had been a slight doubt about Zaha, but he had been training. He missed the last outing they had against Manchester City, but he's apparently fit and ready to throw himself to the floor again. I think the referee Stuart Atwell is it.
Okay, excellent.
Sorry,
there you go.
To write him down on my crib sheet.
Thank you, Gnome. There's your lineups for this evening's Premier League encounter at Selhurst Park. Good evening, Pinky. How you doing, buddy?
All right, Graham. You're hanging up a bit there on us.
Okay, I'll try and keep an eye on that one then. Have you got me now?
Yeah, you've got a bit max headroom. Yeah, you're back to normal.
We've got a bit crouch over here. Yes, Pinky, good evening, sir. How are you doing? Any thoughts on that West Ham lineup? Pretty much what we expected, really, yes?
Yeah, I mean, when you've got a squad as strong as ours, it kind of picks itself. I think the only decision the manager's got to take each week is it Lanzini or Benrahma. That's it's one or the other, and it'll be like that till Arthur returns. So, yeah, you can look at it two ways. A settled team will know how. We'll know their jobs. We'll all be used to who's in and around them. That's the positive. On the negative is we're just putting more and more miles on the same clocks. And hopefully they won't run out of steam tonight. Palace, we know, will be very hard working. They'll be very well organised because that's what Roy Hodgson will demand of his team. Whether or not they've got enough guile to unlock us remains to be seen. I think we'll have enough to get at least one goal tonight. And I'd fancy Antonio to get at least one goal this evening. So, looking forward to the game, actually.
And what's your prediction for final score tonight, Pinky?
2-0 West Ham.
Oh, like that. Bit of confidence. Let's see if that continues throughout the rest of the team. Rio, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Not so bad, thanks, Paul.
Good. No surprises in the team tonight, but we do have someone on the bench that was supposed to be there the other day, but apparently because of a false COVID-19 test result was unavailable. A young striker by the name of Odubeku, who is back in the team, or back in the matchday squad anyway.
Yeah, no, I can't see him getting much game time, to be honest, unless we're desperate. But now we've gone from Allardyce's false number 9 to Moyes' false number 19 now, so it's a complete turnaround at West Ham.
Yeah, very much so. Well, what's your thoughts on the team? Agree with Pinky pretty much as expected, no surprise?
Absolutely. I mean, as he said, we've got such a small squad. They're all, well, most of them are in form. It picks itself. And the only debate really was Lanzini, as he said, Lanzini or Benrahma, or Lanzini or Fornells. But I think Fornells has cemented his place back in the side now, hasn't he? He was really impressive on Saturday, and he helped change the game around last week. So it'd be one that I wouldn't drop at all, to be honest.
Yeah, Pablo Fornells was the unanimous man of the match choice between you guys on Saturday. Gnome, obviously not, of course, because Gnome wasn't here. Gnome was busy elsewhere, but Bristol Hammer giving it to him as well. Palace team, Rio. Couple of we've got Chiati in there. I think Gnome was saying that Tompkins not involved again, but there is a player in there that we were very, very closely linked with during the summer. A young man called Etse, who come from Queen's Park Range. I believe you're a fan of his. Could he be a bit of trouble for West Ham tonight?
I think he's going to be the biggest threat, to be honest. He's really grown into the season. In the last couple of games, he's been instrumental in Palace's better moments. So he's really the one to watch for me. I mean, obviously Zaha poses a threat, but if he could concentrate on the actual football rather than the theatrics, overreactions, and trying to dive at every moment, he might be a better player. But Eze's a real threat, and we've got to be really closely watching him.
Yeah, very much so. Well, let's hope he's off the boil tonight anyway. But certainly been a pretty good player. Who is it? He scored a wonder goal, didn't he, the other day against someone? I'm trying to think who it was against. Anyone remember that? When he ran about 60 yards and planted the ball in the far corner. But anyway, whoever it was.
I vaguely remember the goal, but I can't remember who it was against.
Yeah, but he's certainly showing signs of, being a very valuable player for Palace. Rio, prediction for the score tonight, buddy?
I've actually on a 4 on prediction, Fred. I've gone a little bit negative. I've only put 1-1.
Okay.
And I've been in decent form in now. I've called the last 2 games, 2 out of the last 3 games, absolutely spot on, and got Saturday's first goal scorer. So I think a 1-1 tonight.
Okay. We'll see. Of course, it was one of when the 2 teams met at the London Olympic Stadium earlier this year. Gnome, what do you reckon tonight, based on the 2 teams? Obviously, we were saying no surprises there for West Ham, but looking at that Palace squad, do you see, who do you see as being their key danger men out of what they've got there?
Yeah, Etse, as mentioned.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Going to be interesting to sort of compare and contrast with Benrahma, isn't it?
Yeah.
To see how they, because they're both, you'll both see them sort of trying to run at players. Mm-hmm. Interesting theory about Zaha, because he doesn't appear to have been all that effective or as effective, although I think he's still their top scorer. But one of the things that I've seen of what little I've watched of him, a number of times where he's gone down under minimal contact. Yeah. And but I think referees are beginning to twig. And a number of times they've just sort of waved and sort of get up. Where in situations where you've seen referees give that to other teams, I think his reputation is now preceding him a little. So that for him to get a free kick, it has to be a pretty clear foul, which serves him right, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of you reap what you sow, I guess.
Exactly.
In essence. Yeah. Looking at our bench tonight, no. Darren Randolph again. I think we pointed out in a preview. Percy, should I say, pointed out in his match preview that he's carrying a slight injury. But he's slightly surprised, perhaps, to see David Martin in instead of Saturday's debutant Nathan Trott.
No, not really. I was surprised to a certain degree to see Trott on the bench on Saturday, wasn't it? But then when you sort of think about it, it's a cup they were putting in more of the fringe. No, I think Martin was the obvious choice to go in this one. The interesting one is the arrival back in the squad of Odubeku, because until Afaleo scored on Saturday, I mean, I think it was fairly clear that of the 2, Moyes is more keen on Odubeku, but obviously circumstances dictated that he wasn't going to be available last week. Afaleo obviously did himself no harm at all by coming on and scoring, but his contract's up at the end of the season, so it'll be interesting to see as the season progresses, what Afolayo's future lies as we get underway.
Yes. Okay. Once again, you're a little bit ahead of me. I might have to hit the restart button here. But Palace v West Ham United. West Ham, as I said, West Ham's 20th game of the season, and an opportunity. Oh, I'm going to say it anyway. Look, West Ham can go fourth if we win here tonight. Could be in the Champions League's place. Let's put the mockers on it before we start.
Cheers,
no doubt. No. Prediction.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, 2-1 to us, sort of in between Pinky and Rio.
Okay, good stuff. Well, I'm going to go for an entertaining 2-2. I'll join Rio with a draw. So that's 2 wins and 2 draws from the team here being predicted. Good evening to everybody joining us on the live chat on YouTube. Do let us know what you think about the game, how you think it's going to go. As I've just kicked off here, so I'm so far behind you, it's unreal at the moment. But there we go. It's very
1
interesting.
minute exactly.
Well, 1 minute, okay. I'm 40 seconds behind, so I'll have to do a bit of jiggery pokery to see if I can catch up with you. Interesting haircut being sported, Pinky, by Wilfried Zaha there tonight. I noticed in the build up.
Yeah, I mean, the thought occurred to me: why is he in curlers? You know what I mean? It looks like he's just had a dash from the hairdressers when Marjorie was about to put in a tint of some sort. So she ripped the curlers out. But he's got his 4 little curls. You know, what a load of nonsense! Footballers and their hairdos. You know, I mean, do me a favour. You know, I don't think a player's had a decent hairdo since Chris Waddle had his mullet. You know, it's that simple. They've all gone with all this flash stuff, and not for me. Just picking up on what you're saying about Afolayo there.
Yeah.
Interesting comment from somebody on the forum this week. He appears to have the same agent as a number of our players have at this point in time.
Interesting.
Yeah. And with various other transfer talk going on with 2 loans, already domestic loans.
Yeah.
If we want to take another player on loan domestically, it means we would have to convert either Dawson, a Will Salthouse client, or Ben Rama, a Will Salthouse client, to a full-time signing to facilitate another loan coming in. Who knew? Who knew an agent could have such influence?
well, of course, I wanted to touch on that later. Actually, the lights are all going out. I'm having a nightmare with electricity at the moment. But anyway, hopefully we'll stay on there. No,
well, you know, what we say. Bit of a build-up. Palace sort of managing to work it between the lines. It comes to Zaha on the edge of the box, who puts in a low shot from just outside the box. Just looking at the replay, we're 1-0 down. Yeah, it's just a missed tackle on the edge of the box. It's right inside. Let's just see that again. Yeah, Bonner's missed the tackle there, and suddenly we're 1-0 down. First attack really by either side of the game, and daft haircut or not, Zaha's put him ahead.
2 minutes and 46 seconds. I'm just seeing the goal come through now. Rio, we weren't expecting that, were we?
No, I'm still not. I'm even further behind you. I'm a minute behind you. So I've got an impending doom and gloom coming my way.
Unusual. Sorry, go on, Rio.
No, I'm just going to say, on the forum before the game, there was virtually unanimous optimism. A lot of people going for a win. Everyone anticipating that Palace will put up a fight because they're well organised, well drilled. But there's so much optimism that we're going to win this when they get in the top 4 tonight. And it's all come crashing down already.
Bloody Howlett's fault for saying that, wasn't
it? Yes, it is. My apologies to everyone for that. But yeah, so there it is. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 0. Gnome, another early goal.
Yeah, it's we just really hadn't woken up. We've given away a free kick out on the left touchline as well, which is hence my put my finger up. If you want to stay with me for it,
sure.
Well, Fabianski talking to his defence. Ball's whipped in, and I think that's flicked off Souček's head, is it? Yeah, I think that's gone for a corner. Souček flicking it away. Just see it again now. Yeah, good header from Souček just to make sure it was away from the danger area. Corner at Palace on Palace right, on our left. Do you want to stick with me?
Yes, please do. Yeah.
It's swung in, and Souček again, I think, wins the header. It's knocked back out to Townsend, gets the cross in, and Palace actually going for it a little bit at the moment. Again, the ball's played out wide on the right. Again, Townsend on it, cuts back onto his left, gets the cross in. It's not a great cross, and it's sort of half cleared towards the halfway line. In fact, it's all the way back now to the keeper. Something just to note there, it's been chucking it down this afternoon in South London. It's raining there now, and yeah, when you catch up this, Graham, you'll notice the ball in a couple of places is actually holding up a little bit in one or two places.
Yeah, I was going to say that actually a little earlier, Gnome, because just before the goal, actually, the ball was on the right flank, I think, and you could see it was almost kind of Stockport-esque levels of moisture. It's
not quite as bad as that yet.
Yeah,
but it's getting there.
Yeah, very much so. But so anyway, it's a dreadful start for the Hammers. Pinky, what do we just need to regroup really now, don't we, for a couple of minutes and, try and get hold of the ball, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a poor start. We're still on the bus. If there is a good time to concede, though, it's early in the game because you've got still 80 odd minutes to get a couple of goals back. But a bit deflating really when you consider, a top 4 spot is at stake here this evening.
Yes, apparently so.
Means very much other than you're looking up the table rather than down the table. But for us now, we just need 5 or 10 minutes of hang on to the ball and just calm Palace down because they're playing like men possessed at the minute, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, they've obviously gone out with a rocket up their backside tonight, Rio. But not the greatest start from West Ham here. Are you seeing any tactical issues at the moment, Rio, from what you've seen in your stream over there?
No, the only thing I'm really seeing is it's just missed challenges and lacks concentration. I think you would have thought the resting players on Saturday, we made 6 changes, Saturday or 7 changes.
Yep.
We made 6 tonight. Has that affected it in any way? Has it disjointed the flow of the way we've been playing a little? And sometimes resting people doesn't do any good, Maybe they're a little bit out of sorts and lacking a bit of concentration, a little bit of tactical nous there, It just looks like everyone's switched off a little bit, and we're not at the races.
Yes, yes, we are.
Well, apparently we are. But no, over to you.
Souček is the goal scorer, but massive kudos to Antonio. Fornals had the ball on the left, played a ball into the box that didn't look a good ball. Looked for all the world that he was going out for a goal kick. And they're just showing the replay of it now. And check, and it's played in. I didn't think that was a good ball, but Antonio actually managed to get there and flick it back to Souček, who went in with a header. I do Fornals disservice. It looks like he played that ball for Antonio to get onto, a bit more deliberate. So hands up, I'm wrong there, I think. But Antonio's done marvellously well to get to the byline. Flick it first time. Souček's come running in on the edge of the 6-yard box, and we're on the attack again now. It's just to say that it's broken down, but 1-1, happy or happier.
This could be a bit of a goal fest. This one, Pinky, 2 shots in the opening 9 minutes, 2 goals, incredible.
Yeah, and long may it continue. I mean, looking at the way Palace have lined up tonight, I'd certainly be targeting their right back this evening. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see the bulk of our attacks coming down our left flank this evening, because I don't think Joel Walder's all that. And but for my money, that's one very weak link in their lineup. The other thing, just a minute ago, when that attack we were on broke down, we saw Antonio tracking all the way back kept going, kept going, kept going. I think Palace might have one or two in their side that might not work quite that hard. And I think that ultimately could be the difference. So, yeah, we're back all square. Start the game again.
Yeah, good stuff. Very lively start to the game, as we said. 2 shots, 2 goals so far. And I've just seen Antonio run back actually on my stream. That's how far behind. I guess myself and Rio. Rio's just seen the goal. Rio.
Just seen the goal.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a bit of criticism on Souček for the Palace's opener, saying it was on him because he gave the ball away in midfield, but he's redeemed himself there. Good fit, good header. But I just wish I was up to date. I hate this being behind the stream. I really do hate it.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, isn't it? 10 minutes gone anyway. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 1. Gnome, who do you think is looking more likely to get the next goal here?
We've started looking better going forward. I mean, the goal really was probably around the first time we'd really got our foot on the ball to any degree, and the attack looked good. And since then, we've seen a lot of the ball, and so it's just Rice has nearly played Antonio through there. Just good interception by the Palace player. What I have seen is again Rice, who wins the ball again. Already we're 11 minutes in, and I think I can pick on 5 or 6 times where he's won the ball and broken up a Palace attack already. Top man again. But the only thing that is worrying me at the moment is this pitch where it's not holding up that much at the moment. But as I say, it's been a filthy night, and you can sort of see at the end, going either way, that a pass goes short and somebody nips in because it's not rolled because of the water on the pitch. So it's one to keep an eye on anyway. I'm not quite sure what the forecast is for the rest of the evening. I didn't bother look, but I'll add that to the list of things that goes on my notebook.
There was a clip doing the rounds on social media earlier today of our 1970 game away to Man City.
Classic.
And the state of the pitch there, if you can imagine molten chocolate, okay, it is what it looked like. And you actually look at some of the goals scored on it and the way they move the ball around. So the passing for Jimmy Greaves' opener on that day for us, you're looking at thinking, how could they even pass the ball on that pitch? And they were pinging it around, one-touch football, beautiful passing. You're thinking, surely this is some sort of doctored file here. But you look at it here now. I think there's some way to go before at those levels.
It's just a little bit concerning. But I'm old enough to remember the old baseball ground. So the old baseball ground that Derby used to play on was a quagmire as soon as there was a drip of moisture in the air. And it really was a lousy pitch. Mind you, Wembley wasn't all that good around that time because they used to hold, I remember seeing a League Cup final, which they'd held 4 days after the Horse of the Year show. And they were trying to play a League Cup final on it. So, Anyway, we have a throw on the right-hand side, level with the Palace penalty area. Not an awful lot of movement going on, but Ben Rama's on it now. Twisting and turning, back to Soufal, who's again twisting and turning. Nobody wants to put a cross in, and Soufal's bullied out of it, and we'll lose the momentum there.
14 minutes gone, or they're just about 14 minutes gone. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 1. Very even start to the game. Palace led after 3 minutes, well, 2 minutes and 46 seconds to be precise, Sahar scoring. And then Souček equalising 8 minutes and 5 seconds for West Ham with our first attack of the game. So, very even exchange so far. Good afternoon, good evening to everybody watching us on the live stream, to Christ's Crown and Covenant, sorry. It's 1-1. Dan B, Metlin Both Legs, Hobo, and everyone else tuning in. Do let us know what you think of the game as we're going through. As I said, we'd love to hear your comments.
Ben Rama.
No.
Sorry, Ben Rama's just won a ball that set us up on the attack Cross comes over. Antonio's he's ducked out of it. It's come all the way back to Cresswell, who's now looking for some help here on the left. But no, Ben Rama did very, very well there to Cresswell tries to get across it and Fornals blocks it. But it's only getting as far as Rice. We lost the ball again. So some promising openings potentially there, where all caused by Ben Rama working his socks off and pressurising a Palace defender into giving the ball away, as we give it away again now. So stay with me because this might be a little bit iffy for us.
Okay.
Ball played into the middle, but nobody's made the run, so goal kick.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Quarter of an hour gone. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 1. Pinky, that game, was that Jimmy Greaves' debut, the 5-1 that we were referring to?
It was, where he continued his run of scoring on his debut game for every club he played at. So
that's it.
You know, very good finish actually that he did. But just looking at Declan Rice there, you know, in the destroyer mode, he went hunting down Palace players there with an energy you could scarcely credit. I mean, watching Gareth Southgate. I mean, if Southgate is watching this, he must be looking at that and thinking, "Have I got a player on my hands here or what?" Because that is exactly what you want. You know, he's given the ball away with a bit of a loose pass, thought about it for half a second, and then he's chased down 3 or 4 Palace players to force an error. You know, terrific attitude from Rice.
This is actually most un-West Ham like, Pinky, isn't it? I mean, Gnome, I think, mentioned Antonio a few moments ago doing exactly the same thing, and you know, this is great to see. It's what we want to see.
It's. I mean, one of the accusations you could have made against us in many a season is perhaps a lack of application in 1 or 2 areas. Not this West Ham team. They're all working very, very hard indeed.
Yeah, very much so. Someone who doesn't seem to appreciate Declan Rice, Rio, was Roman Abramovich today. It was revealed when Frank Lampard was sacked. Let me just find my tiny violin to play here. Earlier today, that it was partly because Lampard wanted to take Rice, and Abramovich wouldn't sanction, you know, £100 million on a player they'd let go a few years ago. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I think he's completely right. I mean, I wouldn't. If I was any manager at any other club in the Premier League, I'd say do not buy Declan Rice.
Yeah,
right?
Rubbish.
He's clearly not good enough. Let him rot at West Ham for the next 15 years. You know, I make Abramovich absolutely spot on there. He's made 2 correct decisions in the space of 24 hours. Who would have thought?
Excellent. Yeah, of course, Frank Lampard being fired by Chelsea 18 months into his tenure there. Let's get back to the game. No, we're 17 and a half minutes in. What's happening in the future for myself and Rio?
Throw in on the right-hand side. Antonio has taken it. He's played out wide, well, sort of centrally wide to Cresswell, who's now swapping passes with Fornals. Cresswell's looking to make an opening, but not an awful lot on for him. Now out on the wing with Fornals. Fornals ends up playing it back to Rice. So keeping possession all right, but you know, well, again, Dawson's there, and we're looking forward, looking for that gap. Nothing happening. So Ogbonna's now played it through. Again, we just need to control those a little bit more. It's come back off the forward line rather than anything else. And now Palace, dodgy moment. They've got the ball into the box there with Benteke, who now I don't quite know what's happened there. I think they might have given an offside. Or maybe there was a foul earlier on in the build-up, perhaps on Benteke, which he might have brought it back for.
Okay.
Let's have a look. I think there's a little foul there, but as the ball's played, the ball's played through at Benteke, it's about a mile offside. So that'll explain that. So I don't know what he's. He's brought it. He's given the offside, not the foul. There was a little nudge, and I think it's Zaha, isn't it? Yeah. So Palace have got the ball now down the byline. Cross gets in, and that's taken brilliantly by Fabianski.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Well,
we're still
there. In fact, he did give the free kick. Sorry, look at that. Not the offside. So, just showing the cross again. Fabianski's taking it well. actually seemed to turn around and have a go at somebody there afterwards, but they're not showing that for some reason. Not quite sure what that was all about. Didn't see a bit foul on him or anything. So, yeah, anyway, Fabianski's now going to launch it long.
All right. I'm thinking the weather. It's atrocious out there, Pinky. And I'm thinking of adverse weather conditions. What's the worst game that you can recall going to in terms of, weather that really spoilt the match? I mean, is there anything that sort of immediately springs to mind? I mean, while you're thinking about that, I can tell you mine, because it was at Coventry at Highfield Road back in 1989. It was a foggy game, horrible game, freezing cold. You could only see to the halfway line. The game ended 0-0, and the lad who was standing directly behind me ended up with a pie on his face at halftime, which was hurled down from the Coventry fans above. And of course, as you remember, in those days, you had that horrendous walk back from Highfield Road to the station, which took about 25 minutes, and you had that horrible park in the middle where it always used to kick off. But what springs to mind for you, Pinky?
Well, a hot day and a cold day. Cold day away at Sunderland, I don't know, I guess about 15 years ago now, something like that. And it was bitter. I mean, to the point where you just couldn't concentrate on the match. You know, there was only one thing on your mind: survival. Nothing else mattered. I actually was disappointed I wasn't a full-blown member of the SAS on full time. I fully expected to be commissioned into the SAS because, it was just bloody freezing. Another day in Germany on a pre-season game against FC Mainz.
Yep.
We're over there and baking hot. It must have been 41 degrees, something of that nature, to the point of the players had clearly been told, just play at walking pace. It's a pre-season game.
Yep.
And they're just frying, and we all just stood there. Never mind holding flags up to say where you're from and all the rest of it. We were holding them above our heads to keep the sun off us. Really, and the cops after that game got a little bit shitty, if truth be told, and tried to sort of hold us back in the area, and so we had to slip the net there. But just impossible to play in that heat. So with a World Cup coming in the desert soon, look forward to that.
Oh yeah, that's going to be fun, isn't it? Gnome, does that kind of remind you of that opening day at Preston? Was it 2003?
Oh, that was
100
hot.
degrees.
That was hot. Yeah, they ran out of water. That was a weekend. I spent a whole weekend in Blackpool and didn't have a single drop of alcohol. I've been a bit unwell, and I was it wasn't going to mix with the tablets very well. But I think I drank an Olympic swimming pool's worth of Diet Coke, I think, that day alone. That was sweltering. I think of another game which had awful weather that you were at, Graham, with me. We were in Kitzbühel for the pre-season against Panathinaikos.
Yeah.
I just remember getting back to the hotel afterwards, and my shirt, I mean, I had a waterproof on top, but my shirt underneath the waterproof was sticking to me. It was that wet. And it had been beautiful weather up to that point, hadn't it? Free kick to West Ham, by the way.
Okay, let's stick with that for a minute. We'll come back to this in a moment.
Yeah. Antonio, they've just gone through the back of Antonio. Just Rice played it. Antonio back to goal, and so that is actually it's Chiarti, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to say I thought you looked familiar. Chiarti's basically got arms around Antonio and gone through the back a little bit. So definite free kick, interesting position. I'd say about the camera pulls back. I'll tell you how far out it is. Yeah, about 25, 30 yards out, so shall we say? Yeah, nearer 30, so it's not going to be a shot. Cresswell's looking at getting the cross in. Ben Rama having a word with him, and Rice now makes a jog up into the box, and in goes the ball. It looks interesting. Oh, yes! It's 2-1, and it's that man again, Souček.
Unbelievable.
It's a great cross.
3 shots, 3 goals.
It's a great cross from Cresswell, or Crosswell, as we should call it, perhaps.
Hey.
Oh, he's on fire tonight.
Drop him again.
Will be.
No, they're just having a look, making sure. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, Antonio's gone and it's bypassed Antonio, and it's just gone through to Souček at the far post. They're having a look at this. Maybe there was a suggestion of handball, but when you look at it, it's actually come off Souček's thigh rather than the hand. So it's come off his thigh and he's buried it. Yeah, no problem with that at all. That's a great finish as well. So 2-1 West Ham. It's that man against Souček.
Yeah, 25 minutes gone. We've had 3 shots. Rio and 3 goals. What about that?
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive strike rate, isn't it? You know, and you can point at our goal to be a little bit of an error, but I mean, I'm still yet to see our second. But
okay, I'm just.
You've got to say, what an absolute bargain Thomas Souček is.
Oh,
We've not had a goal scoring midfielder like him.
We're now checking Antonio for offside here, so let's not let's not get too carried away. Well, from the angle they're showing, there's no way you could possibly tell if anyone's offside.
Why are they checking? Why are they checking Antonio for offside?
I think what they're worried about is if Antonio touched the ball, and I don't think he did.
No.
If Antonio touched the ball, then maybe Souček's offside, but I don't. I think Antonio's missed that, and decision goal. There you go. So yeah, a pointless one there. I think I can see why. I suppose if he had touched it. Oh, we're through again here now.
Okay.
Antonio, he's hit the post. Oh, he's hit the post and it's gone out for a goal kick. We could have been 3-1 up.
It's all happening at Sellers Park, Rio, and you and I can't see any of it.
I mean, straight from the kickoff, Palace have passed it back.
Yeah.
And Kuyati's tried to play it across, and I don't know what he's done there, but he's tried to play it across. Antonio's running between the 2 defenders. Shot from the edge of the box. It's just bobbed it. It's hit the left-hand post and gone out for a goal kick on the right-hand side. So Palace leading a very charmed life there. So.
Yeah, just going back to the goal there, Pinky. That's exceptional control there by Souček in the circumstances, isn't it?
You know what I mean. If your first choice striker, assuming we had one, of course, finished as well as that, you'd be delighted, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I mean, he took it really well. You'd perhaps question the keeper in terms of letting it in, on his near side stick, but you can't fault Souček. He's in the right place, controls the ball off the thigh, buries it then with the other peg. Job done. Really good finish, and that's his 5th goal of the season.
We're again. Oh, nearly. Sorry.
And he's making a real difference to our goal tally. With each passing game. So hats off to him.
Yeah, very much so. Gnome coming close there to another one, perhaps.
Yeah, Bowen got into a good position. We haven't mentioned Bowen much tonight, but we're on the attack again. Souček's played the ball out wide, and Antonio's sort of trying to bludgeon his way through as usual, but nothing happening that time. But Palace are actually have lost the plot a little bit here. Not that we're complaining, of course. No, but the ball had got into the box on the right-hand side, and it looked for a second as if Bowen might get past the fullback who was trying to shepherd it away, but he didn't quite make it. But yeah, I mean, I think we're looking good value for this at the moment.
Well, what an incredible turnaround! A goal behind after just 3 minutes from Wilfried Zaha. The Hammers now 2-1 up. With 28 minutes and a little bit more gone. Rio, we were talking just before that goal about adverse weather conditions and the worst conditions you've ever seen at a football match. You've had a little bit longer to sort of think about that one. What sort of strikes you as a particularly memorable day for the weather?
I mean, I'll hark back to Portsmouth away when just before Christmas on, I think it was 1990. When my mate was so cold he cried and it froze to his cheek. That was a bit nippy. I remember a bitterly cold day at Orient in the Cup, which, when you go up north, you expect it.
Yeah.
Little trip across to Leighton, you think, oh, that's all right, I'll be back in half hour or so. I froze my nuts off that day.
I've just thought of another one. When you get
home.
I'd also like to point out, moaning about the heat in Preston.
Yes.
I seem to recall a certain gentleman wearing a Rufus Brevett wig all weekend as well, which didn't help, did it?
Yeah. It wasn't all weekend; it was all day. And sick note had bought these Rufus Brevett wigs, And there must be about half a dozen of them. We all agreed to wear them. Yeah, right. Which only one mug did. So yeah. I was just thinking of another one of those games. Nothing to do with West Ham, but years ago, when a former employer sent me on a course up to Lincoln, and usual thing, you're on a course. Let's go and watch the local team. Lincoln City were playing Leyton Orient, and Leyton Orient had Darren Curry on loan for us, and he was like, people were saying, "Oh, he's definitely a prospect. He's worth a watch." And I'd not seen him play, so I thought, "Oh, I'll go over to that one. I'll go and watch that." So I turn up, and when I get there, Curry's on the bench. So okay, fine. And then it gets foggy, and eventually they brought him on with about 10 minutes to go, and they stick him on the other side of the pitch. I couldn't see him because of the ruddy fog, so that was tenner well spent.
Excellent. Rob Young remembers the Orient game away. Rio, he says, Leyton Orient away, 1980, same here. Bollock dropping cold. 3-0 up at half time. So I suppose
I'm thinking of a different one.
Okay.
I'm thinking of 86, 87, I think it was. We got him in the cup again. Jesus, I mean, I've young and live then, but like I just froze to the spot. I couldn't move for about 4 hours. And they chilled me.
No, back to the game.
Yeah, good work by Cresswell and Fornell. Set Souček up, bore down on goal, made the space, had a shot from the edge of the box. Well saved by the keeper in the end, but a little bit more pace on that. We might have been looking at hat trick. Match stats are interesting. We've had 4 attempts, 3 of which have been on target, as opposed to Palace's 1, which was the goal. Having said that, they're on the attack now. But
was our attack off target the one that hit the post, presumably?
I'm guessing so. Yeah.
I'm just seeing Souček drive from the edge of the box. Interesting observation, actually, there from Dan, who's looking at that Antonio shot that cannoned back off the post. Dan pointing out, of course, that would have been Antonio's first goal from outside the 6-yard box, from outside the area. Sorry, had it gone in, but
nearly right with the 6-yard box.
Yeah, not far out. But Pinky, we're third of the way through the game. We sort of weathered that early storm, and talking about adverse weather conditions, and we've come back, all guns blazing, basically. Good stuff.
Yeah, well, I think we could said to most people before kick-off that have expected a cagier game. 2 teams that are well drilled, well organised. Space would have been at a premium, would all have been saying and what have you. Nothing like it. This is a very good, entertaining, open game of football. Actually, it's almost like 2 novice managers who are just going, do you know what, we'll outscore you, and we're going to go for it. And I kind of get the impression that, reading, Holmesdale net and what have you, all is not well in the Palace camp. There's a few mutterings about Roy and his negativity and so forth. I just wonder if he's just committing people forward tonight, because he might start to feel some sort of pressure that he needs a win. And I think that's kind of made some of the gaps that we're exploiting. So, very much against the run of form, I'd say, with Palace in terms of or their typecast with Roy at the helm. They're very open this evening.
Yeah, very much so. Of course, Palace not really in any trouble in the table, but you certainly said
he was a bit waste for midfield, and it was his fault, really.
Mm-hmm.
But he's obviously redeemed himself. Someone put up a stat just a moment ago. Sorry, my screen. I'm at the wrong end of my screenshots. Right, yeah. Phoenix 232 has posted this stat. Since his debut in February 2020, no one has scored more headed goals in Premier League than Thomas Souček, who's got 5. Compliments here from Graza, who's saying about the team. The pressing and pressure we've been putting on since their goal has been excellent. Croydon's put, to me, it seems like Ben Rama's taken up positions where he can't easily be found by his teammates. Not suggesting he is shying away, but I think he needs to be a bit more proactive receiving the ball from our players. And I think that's the only criticism really coming from the forum. Everyone's really delighted by the way that we responded and come again.
Okay, good stuff. Well, we'll dive back in a bit later. Gnome, what's
Yeah,
going on
sorry
down?
to interrupt and all that, but we've just had a Atwell's mad half hour. We won a throw, and then he decided it was Crystal Palace's throw, and everyone's saying, "What?" Even the Palace lot weren't really asking for it, and then eventually he changed his mind and gave it to us again. So God knows what that was all about. As Ben Rama tees up a shot, it's a bit weak and a couple of yards wide, but it was just like nobody had a clue what was going on. Cresswell had taken it and he blew the whistle and said, "Throw it to Palace." And everyone's going, "What?" Palace going, "What?" And eventually, I think some form of sanity prevailed. Maybe had a word in his ear saying, "No, it was right the first time." And eventually we took it. But yeah.
Bizarre
David
moment.
Moyes going absolutely Garrity there. Ben Rama had received the ball and unleashed a shot from about 25 yards when he had two players in front of him, both in better positions that he could have played in. And Moyes absolutely fuming with the decision making on side Ben Rama there. But for better options on the bench being available, that's exactly the sort of thing that a player gets hooked for. Dreadful decision by Ben Rama, and Moyes is not happy with it.
And of course, this is something that we've been speaking about, isn't it, Pinky? The last 2 or 3 games we've been talking about Ben Rama's decision making, not always making, taking the right option, and another example of it there.
Oh, here we go.
And it's a shame because actually he's looked very lively this evening. He's showing for the ball. He's got quick feet, but he just needs to, dare I say, calm down a bit.
Yeah.
And just understand he doesn't have to beat Palace all by himself. He's got 10 teammates to help him. And some really wise words from David's Cross on the forum this week about, the way that we sometimes judge players, in particularly players that have come from the Championship. They need a while to adjust and what have you. And he's basically was urging us all just to keep calm and just give the guy a chance. And I read it. I thought, yeah, actually, these are really fair comments. But then he goes and does something what he's just done there, and it's kind of like, come on, mate, you need to start learning your lessons a bit quicker.
Yeah, very much so. Back to the game. Thank you, Pinky. No chance there for 4-0 a few moments ago.
Yeah, and I think he almost had too much time. Some good work on the right between Bowen and Antonio. Antonio pulled the ball back. It was slightly behind 4-0, so he had to go back and get it. But once he got it, he wasn't actually inconvenienced by anything so difficult as a challenge. And eventually he got a shot in, which was a little bit weak and weedy and easily dealt with. But as I say, just for a second, I thought Ben Rama might be in there. Kouyaté sliced a clearance, which Kouyaté bizarrely decided not to take any chances and treat it as a back pass. I don't think any referee in the world would have given that as a back pass. Ben Rama was bearing down on him. The keeper could have caught that, I think, but put it out for a throw-in, which again invites us back on. All the pressure, it's all West Ham at the moment. And the way things are going, it wouldn't surprise me to see another one before the interval. Of course, that could be the kiss of death, and I apologise for it in advance if it is.
Well, we seem to be pretty good at that, don't we? But I'm just having a quick look at the match stats then. I mean, interestingly, Palace have not had a shot on at all of any note since they scored in the second minute.
Oh, here we go. Oh, 4-0's dummies, and almost again. And now Palace bring the ball away. Ogbonna's superb there.
Take us through it, no. Take us through that chance.
There? How did we not score there? Thankfully, they're showing a replay. We had a throw-in on the right. Ben Rama cut the ball back. It eventually comes to 4-0, who dummied it.
Yeah.
Cresswell's shot was going wide, but Antonio diverted it goalwards, but he hit the post. I mean, that should be 3-1.
I'm just waiting. I myself and Rio are still waiting to see that, of course. But Pinky, Antonio, incredibly close twice now.
Yeah, and credit to Fornals actually, because he did a lovely little dummy there, basically thinking then I think it was Cresswell, thinking that Cresswell's going to pull the trigger and just bang it home. Instead, he shanks it a bit. Antonio sticks his leg out and off the post. 4 or 5-1 here would not be flattering to us. we are absolutely battering them. I mean, Palace have fallen apart here. This is wonderful to see. Yeah, you know, Stevie Parish with your unsafe Arthur Waite stand, and now you're getting battered on the pitch. Have it, son.
Oh, shush, shush.
Yeah, 40 minutes gone. Crystal Palace 1, Palace scoring after 2 minutes. West Ham United 2. West Ham's goals coming from Souček in the 9th minute, and then I've not made my notes. Who scored the second goal? Totally forgotten who scored the second goal.
Souček. Well, for us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And
Mikhail, who's got a hat trick. We scored 2 goals. Who do you reckon got the second then?
Mikhail Antonio, of course, hitting the post. I'm just going by my notes here, and for some reason I've marked that down. Mikhail Antonio's hit the post twice as well. Pinky, as he's pointed out there, West Ham could be 4 or 5-1 up here. It's great stuff, and but yeah, again, we need another goal, Rio, don't we? 2-1. It's all looking good, but you know, only one ahead. You'd like to see another one before half time, perhaps.
Yeah, after what happened against Manchester United at home earlier in the season, I'm always on edge. We need at least 3 or 4 before I'm comfortable. We should have been. How Antonio's missed them chances, I'll never know. You know, we might be a little bit guilty of overplaying at times there, but we're looking good. We just need to get that clinical edge up front, and we'd be a hell of a side.
Yeah, very much so. We're rapidly approaching half time now. Do let us know, of course. We were talking earlier about games you've attended in adverse weather conditions, whether particularly hot or particularly cold. Do let us know on the live chat if there's any games that stick out for you from attending West Ham games in the past, where you know the weather has sort of spoilt things to a certain degree. Gnome, I was thinking actually of that. I remember going to Leicester. You drove us to Leicester once. It was a championship game. It was about 10 years ago.
Day, didn't it?
It absolutely belted down, and you were doing about 100 miles an hour all the way home. Now, I could see about 6 feet from in front of me, and you know, I was convinced we were going to die that night, but you got us home safely in the end.
It was, nothing on the road, was it? I wasn't doing anywhere near 100. That car wouldn't do 100 if you dropped it off a cliff.
Well, it must have just felt like it anyway.
I was keeping within the speed limit, but you know, it was a fast journey. But the only bits, I wanted to give the car a wash, so every time we went past a lorry, that was where it got a wash. But
yeah. It was an interesting experience anyway. But I think we won that game 2-1, if I remember rightly. In the season we came up. But anyway, we digress. 43 minutes gone. It's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 2. The Hammers turning on the style. And Pinky very much looking the form side that we were going into tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean, playing with bags of confidence, you know, good organisation. I mean, we know what we're doing. And dare I say it, we're starting to look like a football team. I mean, we're quite good to watch. I mean, keep it quiet, but you know, much more of this, they'll be sticking the price of tickets up. You know, so we might need a couple of 0-0 draws just for the sake of the domestic economics. You know, it's no, I mean we're terrific to watch. We're knocking it around at the back. Oh dearie me, you know, the South London Barcelona getting a bit of a footballing lesson from us here. It must be said. But Zaha, I'm sorry, I've got to talk about his hairdo again.
Yeah.
He must be around 30 years old now, something like that. Where does he think that's a good idea to have his hair like that?
I've got an alternative theory.
Yeah.
Whatever the bet was, he lost it.
Well, the reason I raised it was because I was going to say, you know, where on earth has he been to get that haircut? Because everyone's supposed to be in lockdown, and you know, we're not interesting design though. Not one Gnome that I guess you'd be seen wearing down East Ham High Street.
Indeed. There again, of course, like me and Pinky, we've got the option, I suppose. But
here we go. Here we go.
Free kick to West Ham. Dawson launches it long, and it's kept in. Bowen keeps it in. Now it's out for a West Ham throw eventually. Anyway,
bit of a naughty one by Zaha there, Gnome on Dawson. Very late.
just
can't come out.
Late and Hang on, no. Ben Rama forces a corner. Throw-in was taken to Antonio, flicked it back onto Ben Rama, who was taking it to the byline. But sorry, just as the work phone decides to go, but I'm not going to take that. But yeah, that's a corner to us. Yeah, it was. It was late. It was after the ball. Yeah, I think Atwell had a word, but no yellow. Probably just about right. Corner comes in swinger. It's the defender beats right to it at the near post, and it just falls shy of a West Ham player as we've got a comedy free kick, really. Yeah. Even Antonio's laughing that he slid in to make a tackle, and then Chiati sort of eventually went over the leg. Yeah, it was a foul, but it was sort of Antonio had made the tackle about 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a foul at all. I think Antonio was trying to tackle, might even have been trying to foul, but Chiati actually went down long before he got anywhere near Antonio. I think that was two players ending up at the backside, and it should have been play on. Nothing wrong with that at all.
I think it was a foul, but it was just one of those sort of comedy ones where it wasn't the foul that Antonio intended. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the incident here actually, and yeah, you're right, Pinky's. I think Antonio's sort of anticipating it about 5 seconds earlier, isn't he? And misses him by a country mile, but very unusual. Yeah, enjoying the surface, making the most of the wet surface there. You guys must be rapidly approaching the end of the half now.
Yeah, it's just been such a good half and all that. I hadn't even thought about what time it was. And there are 2 minutes of stoppage time. Obviously, we had the VAR thing for the equaliser, and we played. We've played the 2 minutes now, and indeed the referee blows the whistle. So half time, and well played, Hammers.
Absolutely.
What a fantastic half. Rio, we're just seeing a shot. You and I are just seeing it. Obviously, Pinky and Gnome saw it about 90 seconds ago, but we're just seeing a shot of Roy Hodgson looking thoroughly miserable, standing on the sidelines there, like he wished he was somewhere else entirely.
Well, he should think that every day when he goes to work, shouldn't he? He works in Croydon, for God's sake.
Someone's been reading Percy.
Fair play to him. When he for a pensioner, he really should be retiring to the sunshines, shouldn't he? Really, not watching a bunch of ill-coiffured imbeciles prance about Selhurst Park. Roy, give it up, mate, please. And it's been a fantastic half. We've absolutely battered them after that slow start, little bit of a lax moment, but we've responded in an unlike West Ham-like way, and we've dominated. We really have dominated, and it's a well-deserved lead. Fair play, West Ham. Excellent play.
Yeah, very much so. Just a quick recap for those joining us late on the stream or who haven't seen it so far. Crystal Palace scored with less than 3 minutes on the clock. Wilfried Zaha with Palace's first and I believe still only effort of the half, with a well-taken shot from the edge of the box. West Ham equalising just after the 8-minute mark when Thomas Souček converted a Michail Antonio cross, cleverly kept in by Antonio, and Souček heading home at the near post. And then Souček doubling his account for the evening on the 25th minute. A cross from Aaron Cresswell to the far post where Souček bobbled the ball home. A VAR check, a lengthy VAR check, failed to find anything wrong with the goal. They checked for offside a couple of times, but couldn't find anything wrong. So the goal stood. Thereafter, Michail Antonio hitting the post in the 27th and 39th minute. So West Ham could be even further ahead. But as it is, Gnome, fantastic first half for West Ham. And at the break, we are cruising.
Yeah, we're looking very, very good, it has to be said. I suppose it's traditional at this point. We must introduce the standard note of caution. I don't want to see us come out for the second half like we so often do, and like we did the other week against West Brom, and not come out for the second half. So, I want to see us at it again right from the very start. But no, it's been as good a half as we played, I think, possibly all season. you know, we've looked positive. We've really had them on the rack, and I mean, you know, we've had the Antonio has had a couple of efforts off the post, as you mentioned, but Souček, Fornals, Benrahma have all had efforts where, you know, you think, well, perhaps you would have done better, or, you know, either laying the ball off or better with the shot. Obviously, 2-1. It's a pain in the neck of a score, because you're always a little bit vulnerable. But no, if they can carry that on, if both sides players they have been, then we're going to do the goal difference some good as well. Fingers crossed. So
no complaints at all so far. No, for sure. Just looking at the match stats quickly. Possession, Palace 47% to West Ham's 53 at the interval. Shots, as I said, Palace only had one shot tonight so far. That was in the 3rd minute they scored from it. West Ham have had 8 shots at goal, 4 on target, including the 2 goals from Souček. And of the 4 that weren't on target, 2 of those, of course, were Michail Antonio efforts that rebounded off the post. Corners 1 apiece so far, and West Ham have committed 6 fouls to Palace's 4. Pinky, I'm trying to find something we can be disappointed with in that first half, but I suppose bar the early goal, and you know, not looking sharp coming out of the blocks, you know, it's been pretty perfect so far, hasn't it?
I don't know how long you got. You want me to give 15 minutes on how crap we are? I mean, that's okay. I mean,
Declan Rice has been rubbish, of course.
I'll trim it back if you want, but no, I mean, we can be picky if we want to be, and say, look, you know, missing the chances that I think we should have converted, that could come back to hurt us. You know, because we really should be at least 4 goals up here. I mean, you know, let's not mince our words. We have battered Palace for 30 of those 45 minutes, to the point where Roy Hodgson might be sitting there thinking, do I go and try and get a point, or do I actually just, you know, damage limitation time? That's how dominant we've been. If you know, I hesitate to single them out because, as I said earlier, I felt it'd been quite. I'm not sure good's the word, but it's certainly been trying very hard. Benrahma, he's trying to get involved. He's trying to actually make things happen. But that one moment where he had 2 options, and you know what? Pick either of them, and we get a goal. And the manager's looking at that, and he knows, that we've got players who have absolutely put themselves in the right position, and all Benrahma's got to do is just find one of them. What does he do? He unleashes a shot from 25 yards, whatever it was, and Moyes went bananas, and you can understand why. So I think you know, we're at the stage where we've got to stick with him and just coach him continually and say, Sayed, you don't have to win it all by yourself, because I'm hesitating to batter the guy, because I can see he's desperately trying and he wants to be successful with us.
Yeah.
But actually, he's just got to learn a bit more about, at this level, sometimes the genius is the 3-yard pass that puts a teammate in space.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be an individual bit of skill per se. It's decision making really matters at this level. So if I had one criticism, it'd be his decision making hasn't been great. But you know what? We're 2-1 up away from home, and that's the biggest crime I can find. I'll take it.
Yeah, very much so. Jack on the YouTube live chat saying that we should be 4-1 up at half time. And Dan says they have more options on the bench, and it could be the difference between getting 1 and 3 points this evening. Let's have a quick look at the 2 forums to see what the fans of each team think of what they've seen so far. Rio, let's start with you. Let's jump into the KUMB.com forum match thread and see if there's lots of happy hammers about. I suspect there are 1 or 2.
Very much so. Soft hammers put, bad start, good finish. A fun game to watch with many different ingredients. What about Zaha's hair breakdown? Antonio's 2 post shots, Flying Thomas. And when did Crystal Palace buy Haller? And when did he change his name to Benteke? Crouching Hammers put, very good first half. Completely dominated from 5 minutes in. However, we will need to be more clinical, as we should be out of sight. Palace won't be as poor in the second half, so we've got a lot of work to do. but really, really impressed with Ben Rama's work rate. Muppet from Space has put absolutely atrocious 45 minutes. I want my West Ham back. Moyes out. I am Loro's put our weird aversion to going 2 goals up could cost us here. I'm also aware that we've had one Zaha swan dive away from Palace being back in the game. Lincoln Hammer, this is the toughest, hardest, most menacing West Ham team I can ever remember. We're the absolute dogs to play against, and that's a good thing. So a lot of people really complimentary about our work rate, our application. We're just bemoaning the lack of finishing ability at the top still. No, it could come back and bite us.
Okay. Good stuff. Excellent. Excellent. Good to see everyone on the KUMB.com forum match thread elated with what they've seen so far. I think we all certainly are here. I suspect that the people of Croydon and South London aren't quite so happy. Pinky, what's the view over on Holmesdale.net?
They're not happy. I think it's fair to say. I'm detecting a few kids being sent to bed early tonight without any supper. You know, that kind of thing. You know, it's. I mean, here's a typical one here from Nicholas 91. 91 obviously refers to the last time Palace won a game, but you know, they look like everything we're not. A team that actually has their act together, being outfought, outthought, and outrun yet again. Can't argue with that. It's in there. What else we got here? Where is Ray Lewington? Is he in the changing room, poised for another blistering halftime team talk that is sorely needed? Palace just completely out of sight at the moment. Best defender for us is the post. Sign him up. You know, I mean, that's all the way through. Here you go. The utterly unacceptable face of a professional football club. We look like a pub team. I mean, there's not a lot of love for the Palace there. You know, whoa, whoa, whoa. Dare I say it? They're not glad all over. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, you know, should be 4-1 down, set up to defend, cannot defend. You know, considering how highly our glorious manager rates himself, this is another show. I'd argue there's a very good case to say he's lost the dressing room here. I mean, this is absolutely, I mean, they're not happy. They're genuinely not happy. I'm gutted we're not there to taunt them tonight. Could you imagine? 2,000 West Ham there tonight, giving it large to the Palace? Oh my days, it'd be, you know, there could be full-scale riots after the game, you know, if it carries on like this. And you know, so they've picked a good night to be awful, let's put it that way. But Holmesdale.net, you know, here's another one. Zaha might just walk away on a free just to get away from these dinosaurs. You know, this is just, is dire. I mean, you know, David Sullivan, actually, if he's tuning in to us tonight, which, you know, he really ought to be. If you think you get some stick, David, on KUMB, well, just have a look at Holmesdale.net and give Steve Parish a call and, you know, put an arm around his shoulder, because I'm telling you, there's not a lot of love between Palace and their support at this point in time.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that if West Ham go on to win this game this evening, tomorrow's opposition view is going to be a joy to watch. It always is when we beat Palace, and I'm sure tomorrow will be no different. So keep an eye on KUMB.com for that one. Good evening, Steve Palmer. Good to see you on the stream, joining us a bit later tonight. Hobo says that first half reminded me of the first half against Manchester United, with us missing so many chances. Well, let's hope the second half doesn't turn out the same way, Hobo. But good to see you on the stream anyway. Just having a quick look at the second goal again there, Gnome, and Antonio putting the ball back for Souček, and just watching him stretch that leg as far as he possibly could to keep that ball in play. I'm sure I'm not the only one whose mind it ran through that could be a ping moment.
Yeah, whenever he does that sort of stretch, you automatically, involuntarily sort of grab your thigh, don't you? Just because you can always feel it.
But great stuff from Mikhail anyway.
I do owe 4 hours the biggest of apologies, because when you look at that from the first angle they showed it, and in real time, it looks for all the world that that's a lousy ball. But Antonio and Fornals knew exactly what they were doing there, and it was you see it more from behind the goal.
Yeah,
where you see that Fornals has clocked where Antonio's going to make the run to and played the ball superbly into it. I mean, still gave Antonio a hell of a lot to do, but he did it superbly, and you know, it was a marvelous goal. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're all happy now, sort of thing. We just need to make sure that the second half is as good as the first, and that starts from the second the whistle goes. I want to see, you know, I don't want any sort of. I'm still having me cup of tea mentally moments going on.
Yeah, we've had a couple of games like that, haven't we, recently, where you know, Manchester United, as Hobos mentioned, and of course, I think Gnome, you mentioned West Brom earlier in the stream. You know, we've not come out. Yeah, of course. So imperative, of course, that Rio, we come out and we're bang on it for the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half here. Just make sure we don't concede anything.
You know what? Hodgson's got to get Palace in the dressing room. He's got to give an absolute blast. But we've got to respond. We've got to be really, really sensible about how we approach this. You know, we've got to contain. Yeah. We've got to do the simple things right. You know, we cannot afford to have a lapse in concentration like we did at the start of the second half, like we've done a few times this season. We really need to be on our mettle from the word go. This game should have been done and dusted, but as we just pointed out, we've thrown away a few points in the past doing this kind of thing. So let's not be the West Ham of old. Let's be the new West Ham. Let's be the more compact, the more tactically aware, the more astute West Ham that will not throw points away. Because, as we pointed out, if we do hang on to this lead and we do win this game, look where we could be at the end of it.
Where's that, Rio? I don't think anyone's pointed it out yet.
Just south of Fulton Heath. That's where we could be.
Yeah, we are about to start the second half very soon. I've just taken a look at my clock and seen it's 7 o'clock, and I thought that must be wrong that time. But of course, we kicked off at 6 o'clock, a lot earlier than usual. One thing that we normally do before the start of the game, we didn't do tonight, was look at the head-to-head record of the two teams. Interestingly, the two sides have met 43 times in the past, and you know, Palace have only beaten West Ham 9 times in their entire history, which seems incredibly low. But West Ham winning 18 and 16 draws. I thought, Gnome, that we would have met more often than that. It seems to be
it's only as the game's restarted and Palace are on the attack down our right hand side. I'll come to that shortly. Sure. As it's gone out for a throw. It's when you think about it, until it was about 1968, I think was the first time they came up to the top flight. Yeah. Prior to that, they were. It's a goal kick, sorry, to West Ham. Sorry, that might be a corner, but it wasn't. Prior to that, they were very much. I think they were members when it was Third Division South all those years ago, and Third Division, and it was only relatively, when I say relatively recently in terms of my old age, that they made their first foray into the top flight in about 68, 69 there or thereabouts. When they got relegated, it was a long while before they came back up again. And so they haven't got dozens and dozens of top flight seasons under their belt. So yeah, perhaps it's if you're a lot younger and your memories are only of the last 15, 20 years or so, then yeah, it might be a bit more surprising. As Palace now come away, Zaha's, that's a fine save from Fabianski. And again, Zaha was clean through. Fabianski came out, narrowed the angle, made the first save, which pushed the ball wide. And again, Zaha, basically Rice missed the tackle. Eze fed Zaha. First save was great. And then Zaha couldn't get the ball back into the middle for anybody. Fabianski put it out for a corner. So it's that first second in the second half thing again, as Atwell gets all funny over where the ball's placed for the corner. Stay with me. It says I've got to take it, and it doesn't beat the player at the near post. Ball's played back out to Etse. Interesting cross, but Fabianski is far too near to him, and he'll sort that out. So let's hope that's our silly 5 seconds of the game, and let's go forward now.
Yeah, yeah, good work from Fabianski there. Come out smartly to smother that
sorry,
opportunity.
Greg.
5 occasions. No.
Yeah, 2 Palace players went and had the same ball, and they're both. It's Cahill and I think Chiati have basically collided with each other. It looks a bit serious on the head injury front. Obviously, the game immediately stopped.
No, it's gamesmanship.
There wasn't a West Ham player within 5 miles of them.
Yeah, but Palace players know they've been so bad, the manager needs to make some changes. He's not done so. So the players are now going for the concussion substitution rule. So 2 of them are actually headbutting each other.
Well, there is a stoppage. There was something that came out, which I sort of take issue with from the Holmesdale lot. And they were sort of saying, saying something about their glorious manager's opinion of himself, which I thought was, that. So I've just looked at it again, and it's a nasty little collision, which I thought was a bit unfair on Hodgson. I think of all managers that you've come across, especially in the Premier League, of all the managers, the one who probably hasn't got a hyperinflated opinion of himself is probably Hodgson, who's a very personable sort of chap. And, this is going to take a while. This injury is that. I don't know who, if either of the 2 players called for the ball, but it's. I mean, there are probably as many. I mean, our physios are on. There's to give a hand, and Cahill's up anyway.
It's actually that bad, that collision, that just checking the replay there, when you see it happen, you look in the background. I think it's Townsend, and there's another player as well. And they both go like this, and they realise just how bad it is, and it's definitely a very, very nasty one. But fortunately, both players seem to be okay anyway. But
well, Cahill's up, and he's holding his ear like he's got ringing or his jaw, and it was nasty, wasn't it? I mean, it's one of those ones. The second you see it, you go.
Yes, sickening. I think the word is frequently put out for that one. Just interesting. Just while we're on this break, going back to those meetings between West Ham and Palace, the 2 clubs didn't meet for 48 years between 47 years between 1923 and 1970. So there's your answer as to why.
As I say, they were knocking around Division 3 or thereabouts. Right. We're getting underway again, and I think Chiati's up anyway, and obviously the guys are the physio guys are obviously happy that neither player has a concussion, and Hodgson looking on. I don't think he looks quite so sure. I don't think he's so sure about Chiati. Now the referees are judging that as the game being stopped the second the collision had happened. So we don't get the throw in. It's dropped back to Palace, and we're underway again.
51 minutes gone. It's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 2. The Hammers, of course, trying to navigate that tricky spell at the start of the second half. Almost came unstuck, actually, a couple of minutes ago when Fabianski had to pull off a double save from Wilfried Zaha, who's pretty much been Palace's only threat. Interestingly, that double effort was the first shot on goal by Palace since they scored in the 3rd minute. Gnome, over to you.
Yeah, sorry, just it's a Ben Rama decision-making thing where there was some nice play, the ball played to him, and he elected to backheel it to nobody, basically, which, again, a bit of thought, if he a bit more awareness about him, he might have tried to take that on. But it's put the ball back to Palace, who are now coming forward again. It's one of those ones that you throw your hands up in frustration as Palace are on the edge of the box here. Milicevic tries to flick the ball over to Zaha, who hoofs it high into the box. Palace win the header, but it's clear that I think Dawson got on the end of that. and Antonio wins the header, and it's back on the halfway line and all the way back to the Palace keeper.
Pinky, fair to say that West Ham haven't come out the blocks firing on all cylinders once again.
Yeah, we're a little bit stodgy at the minute, I think it's fair to say. I'm not so sure it's a case of we're thinking job done or anything like that. But, you know, it's a foul night. Palace haven't been great. And I think at the minute we're just playing well within ourselves. Interesting, they just showed, you know, quite a long sort of shot on Roy Hodgson. And I couldn't help but thinking there's a similarity between him and Glenn Tilbrook out of Squeeze. You know, I don't know if that's a South London thing, but I'm looking at him thinking, you know,
is it the hair?
Yeah. There's just there's a certain something there which, you know, I don't know, but that's about the most interesting thing I can say about Roy Hodgson, because I don't share Gnome's view on him in that sense. You know, I've not met him personally, but I'm told he's not altogether pleasant, shall we say? So
he's not the big I am, though, which was what they were trying to sort of suggest, really, is he? Yeah.
Well, funny Gnome, as England manager, there was a touch of that. I'm led to believe. So,
right, maybe. Just, I mean, yeah, obviously, I've been in the room with him a couple of times, and he's never come over that to me. But you know, let's say, I mean, there may be better information out there. Not much happening in the game, by the way.
Yeah, we just saw Benteke go down clutching his shoulder, but he seems to be all right. So poor Palace in the wars at the moment, Rio. Their players falling down left, right and centre.
I would offer a little bit of sympathy, but it's Palace. Just someone break something, please. Just get off the pitch. Break something. I mean, you've got a man, you've got a team there. I mean, just going back to the hair thing, I know we shouldn't really. We should be a bit serious, but you've got a team full of them. Eze looks like the reincarnation of Rufus Brevitt. You've got Glenn Tilbrook managing them. Andros Townsend looks like Oddjob from Carry On Screaming. And Zaha's trying to morph himself into a kind of Bath Mall kind of thing. I don't know what is going on there.
Madness in the hair stakes. Pinky, big clap there.
Some lovely skill from Declan Rice. I mean, lovely footwork by him just to open up a bit of space for himself and put the ball through to Antonio, I think. I mean, you know, for a big lad, that showed a real sleight of foot there. Real, you know, stand and applaud moment. Yeah, great stuff.
Good to see, Gnome.
Yeah, sorry, just another little spell of some really good one-touch football comes to an end when the last pass goes slightly astray. We've done that a few times today. And you know, it's one of those ones where you think this is good. Oh, you know. So, yeah, the move that Pinky was describing there, I think the ball ended up coming through to Ben Rama, who tried to play Antonio in. Right ball to try and play, just a little bit too much on it. But it's it's just beginning to. Having said that, now Palace are sort of going forward, but I think during that spell it was just a little bit of we're beginning to sort of finish our rest and we're on the move again. So as Antonio loses it now, I'll shut up.
Commentator's curse coming out to get to, but you're right. I mean, a good point you made there. I think about the decision making from Ben Rama. We've been critical of him already tonight and in recent weeks, but you know, it didn't quite come off. But at least that was the right idea on that occasion. No. Yeah.
Sorry, I just distracted by again events on the game. As Zaha has another moan about something. I mean, he's just left a foot in there. I think Declan Rice got in, and between him and Cresswell, robbed Zaha of the ball, and Zaha went in a bit late on Cresswell, then moaned because he'd been caught. Yeah, he does like a moan, does Zaha.
Do you know what I mean?
Ben Rama on the ball now. Interesting. It's an interesting ball into the box there. Not quite right. The run wasn't quite right for it, and it's cut out by the keeper. But he's trying to make things happen, Ben Rama.
Yeah, he's certainly full of, you know, ideas, but just not quite paying off at the moment. You sort of get the idea, I think, Pinky, that it's all going to come good, in sort of 2 or 3 consecutive games for Ben Rama. It strikes me as one of those players where, they go on a little spell where it doesn't quite happen. Then all of a sudden, everything just gels.
Yeah, the guy's trying. He's really trying, and maybe he's trying too hard.
Yeah.
And just the arm around the shoulder, just he doesn't have to win the game all by himself. And he's showing plenty of good things, but it's just that last little bit, the final decision, the final ball. And if it clicks, he'll hurt teams if it does click.
Here we go.
So,
so there's some good work on the right hand side between Fornals, Soufal, and eventually Bowen, who Palace just basically lost him. Had a lot of time to measure the cross. It took a flick out and eventually was cleared. But Ben Rama's on the ball again. Clever throw from Soufal. He's got the byline, pulls the ball back, and we knocked 3-1 up. Oh man. Antonio's wondering what he's got to do to score. Great throw from Soufal, great run from Ben Rama. He's still got a lot to do there, but he gets down to the byline, pulls it back. Now that looked like, it was almost an own goal, I think, from Chiati. I think. Let's have a look again. Did it come off then? Seemed better from here. No, it was Antonio. Keeper saves it, and from point blank range, it comes out, and Ben Rama can't get enough on it, and the keeper jumps on it to make the save. But that really should be 3. Antonio, he's not going to come off this pitch surely without a goal.
It's well, we're just talking about him there, weren't we? Gnome, excellent work from Ben Rama on the right hand side, supplying the cross.
Oh, Antonio then tries to pick out Ben Rama with a pass, and it's blocked. It's beginning to start to look like the sort of middle to latter stages of the first half, where we were just pouring forward and tearing them apart. Say that Palace are on the attack again now. Etse plays a ball. That's hard. That's going to be a goal kick. Good work from Soufal there to play it off the number 27, Williams Mitchell. Etse probably asked far too much of Mitchell in the first place there, but Soufal watched it, got a touch on Mitchell, and goal kick, which Fabianski will be grateful for, because he's not had an awful lot to do today, really, has he?
No, well, apart from that double save, 2 minutes after the restart, he's been, completely anonymous, really, which is of course what we want to see. But here we are. We're an hour in now, and Rio sort of, it's about this time we start looking at substitutions, perhaps discussing who David Moyes might want to take off. We sort of get the feeling, in recent months that Moyes doesn't like changing his side too much when we're ahead, especially when it's a very narrow lead. But sort of looking at what you're seeing on the pitch, is there anyone? I mean, just one person, actually, I just want to bring up, and someone mentioned earlier on the live stream, I didn't get an opportunity to bring it up, but Jared Bowens looks a little bit quiet tonight. Do you think he might be sort of first Hoyt here?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's normally one of the first ones to go, isn't he?
Yeah.
Someone actually on the forum has put, Sticky actually, on the forum has put, one of Bowen's been told to just tuck in today. He's hardly be involved. Is it a tactical thing to try and nullify a little bit of the threat down the right-hand side? So maybe it's a tactical thing. But with Jared, he's got such a lot of energy and a lot of running in him. I don't think he'd be the one to go first. I mean, I think if anyone's liable to be taken off, first of all, it'd probably be Ben Rama, because for all his promise and all his work rate and his decision-making, his passing isn't the greatest at the moment. And he's been guilty a couple of times for a couple of sloppy balls in midfield, which has surrendered possession. So I think if anyone's going to go, it'd be Ben Rama first.
Okay. Do you see that happening in the next few minutes, or do you think, we're sort of 10, 15 minutes away from that still?
I still think it'll be about on the 70 mark. That's when Moyes normally makes his first one, unless it's enforced.
Okay. Well, we'll keep a close eye on that and see what's happening. Gnome, how are we doing down there at the moment?
Palace trying to force an opportunity, but again, that's Cresswell's watched that all the way and has brought the ball out. It's out on our left wing now. Benrahma's on the ball again. Lovely turn. He's turned well there. Now, can he pick out the pass? That's the pass to Soufal. Oh, it's taken a deflection. The keeper manages to adjust. It's still in the box. And now Palace will probably get to clear it. Benrahma did very well there. Again, he managed to pick the right pass. It come down our left, and Soufal was making great strides up there. Bowen had moved inside, and that left the ball free for Kufal. Played it across. It flicked off the Palace defender, but the goalkeeper had time to adjust and make the block. Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm not sure I'd make any changes at the moment. Just at the second you were talking about Bowen there, he did one of those things that isn't going to get him noticed, but he forced the throw in because he just put the full back under pressure. And didn't make a tackle, didn't have to. Ogbonna's fouled, but the referee plays the advantage. Now we're on the attack here now, so stay with me. Antonio's, he's lots of step overs, gets the shot in, it's blocked. It's out wide to Fornals, who's looking for help now. Soufal's got the help. It's back to Fornals. They're just trying to work some triangles there. Soufal starts the run, but it doesn't come to him. But he's now got a ball back. Lovely footwork from Soufal. Nutmegs the defender, and Fornals forces the corner. Good work between those two up there. Antonio, he's now saying, "Hang on, I haven't got a goal yet." And it's a lovely run. Lots of little step overs, and as I say, it's a good block from the defender. It's hit straight at him, I suppose, but a corner which we're quite good at lately. So Bowen's on this one. If you want to stick with me, apart from Antonio's in the 6-yard box, everyone's lining up on the edge. So interesting to see where this one goes.
Okay,
it's taken over. It's played into the 6-yard box, and it's gone straight back out for a corner. MacArthur clears. So, as you were, we'll have another go at that one then, shall we?
Lovely touch in the build-up to that corner from Kufal there.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if...
Little back heel through his own legs and through the defenders, yeah.
That's it. Yeah, some nice touches from the Hammers. Did you say there was another corner? Sorry,
the first corner was cleared out at the near post. The second one's just about to be taken.
Okay.
Longer. And it's in. Yes, it's 3. And I'm just trying to see who it is. Sorry, he's buried up some people. I think it might be Dawson. It was a bit of facial hair in there, sort of thing. So, but that's 3-1. Simple as you like. Corner played across, and
Craig Dawson with the goal, Pinky.
It's a little bit like the one he got up at Stockport. He's come a little bit from deep, not quite as deep, but there's nobody really challenging him, and he's just thrown himself at it, and it goes 3-1. Keeper's not going to stop that.
It could have been the great Alvin Martin doing that. I mean, I'm sorry, I've said it against Stockport. I'll say it again tonight. I mean, that is the great Alvin Martin-esque. Up you get. Put your head where it could get hurt, but you don't really care because you want to score a goal. And Dawson's gone in there, bang, proper English centre half. I like it. Well done, Craig Dawson. Terrific goal, West Ham.
Classic. It's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 3. Still a long way to go yet, of course, but the Hammers really, we needed that goal, Rio, didn't we? We desperately needed that goal. We now have daylight between us and the Eagles, or the Glaziers, or whatever they're calling themselves this week.
Definitely. There was a little bit of anxiety creeping into the forum that we should have been absolutely out of sight by now. Both Antonio and Souček have both had hat-tricks. Everyone was anticipating us doing the usual West Ham thing of throwing things away, but we can have a breathe now. Breathe a little easier, everybody. Calm down. Get yourself a drink. It's fine. Reading for that place near Fulton Heath. Was it called Top 4 or something? Top 4? Yeah, something like that.
Rio putting the mockers on it as well now. So there you go. That's three of us. Gnome, little round of applause from you just a moment ago there.
Just for Bonner, who, as you know, I mean, okay, Palace haven't really threatened an awful lot, but he's been outstanding there. And it was one of those ones where he anticipated the ball before the Palace player did, stepped in, superb interception, and put us on the attack again. You know, this isn't a game where he's going to catch the eye very much, but he's and as Soufal again puts the interception. They do get the cross in, but Fabianski says, "I'll have that. I'll come. I'll keep yourself warm by coming for that for catching practice." And as you are, so Fabianski now sort of just looking to get rid. Plays it long.
Great stuff. We have a substitution. Sorry, no, I was looking at something and reading something else there for a minute. So I don't know if you mentioned it. I don't think you did, but Batshuayi is on for Townsend.
I didn't notice that. You noticed that more than I did.
I just read it on the telly.
Oh, well, I've been looking at it. I didn't see that come up at all. So, are you on a stream or are you actually on BT?
Oh, I'm on a BT stream. It's a moody one, but it is a BT stream. It's the moody BT stream is actually. Yeah, bizarrely, I'm looking at a moody BT stream. It's actually ahead of the actual BT stream, which I've got on this screen up here, but it's behind the moody one. So I've got two on. But there you go. 68 minutes gone. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 3. Pink, I just want to go back to something you touched on there a few moments ago, talking about Ben Rama. Sort of a bit of an enigma, isn't he? But just wondering, I mean, we spoke about him, you know, doing all the hard work and doing it himself. No.
Sorry, that would have been. I mean, Antonio's had another chance. It would have been one of the best goals you've ever seen. Lots of one-touch passing. Cross goes across. Soufal has a dig, and again, Antonio sticks a leg out and just diverts it. Well, a foot or two wide, and he's annoyed with himself. He knows if he goes away, if he goes out tonight without a goal, he'll be banging his head against the coach windows. I think, you know. But the build-up play to that was just outstanding. It was superb.
Boring West Ham. Boring West Ham. I mean, honest to goodness. If you're not enjoying this, just stop watching football, because we're playing really well here this evening. You know, fabulous stuff from us tonight. Really good.
Yeah, it's a Declan Rice. I mean, the cross coming in from Declan Rice, and I think it's Kufal, isn't it? Who I think it's a shot actually, but kind of misdirected, and then Antonio agonisingly inches wide of the post. Yeah,
Soufal's was definitely a shot, but which was the one sort of half bum note in the whole move. But up to that, the play would have been superb, but it deserved the goal for the 5 or 6 passes up to that point. It was all one touch and overlapping, and the movement was a joy to watch. As we're going through now, what's happening here? Another shot, it's deflected. That'll be another corner as it goes out. Fornals made a bit of room for himself, and you know. To use Pinky's usual boxing analogy, the towel would have come in a long while ago on this one. So corner to West Ham, they're just focusing on Fornals, who's had another good game. I think he's gone to look at for the short corner, but play it in the box, lads. It's working. Come on, Antonio, get on the end of this one, mate. Over to longish corner. Palace half clear it. Rice gets it out to Cresswell. Cross goes in and it's headed clear again. But yeah, we'll bring it back. Soufal, lovely ball into the box to Benrahma, who's first touch a little heavy perhaps, but he's now down the corner flag trying to work something. And does superbly well. Gets Kufal in. Kufal loses it unfortunately, but Benrahma did quite well there, having got himself boxed in the corner. That's about it. Palace will now bring the ball away. But
okay,
Antonio, it's got to come, mate. It's got to come.
Yeah, it's just not happening for Michail Antonio. Hit the post twice in the first half, in the 27th and the 39th minute, and then there you go in the 69th minute, inches away from opening his account for the evening. But he's had a
Double
great game.
change for Palace, by the way.
Okay, who we got there?
Miller Jovovich, him. He's going off. The one whose name I can never ever. Milo Jovovich, somewhere, whatever he is. He's off anyway.
We'll call him Milo. That's easy.
Yeah, and another iffy haircut. He's coming. Riedewald is coming on, and Benteke is coming off, and Jordan Ayew is coming on. I think it's fair to say that perhaps Benteke and Hodgson were the only two people realised that he was on the pitch.
Yeah, that's 3 substitutions now then for Palace. Following Batshuayi coming on for Townsend a few minutes ago. West Ham, of course, still to make any changes, but Rio, no need to make any changes, really. We're absolutely flying. It's fantastic stuff from the Hammers. Champagne football.
It's a joy to watch. Just to reinforce that opinion, just a few comments on the forum. Wall 359's put, I can't recall a better 60 minutes of football from us. This isn't a negative, boring noise, and it's great to see. Anthrax Dave, this is simply outstanding stuff from us. We really are quite good, aren't we? Hand a Dog, there is some real football being played here. Benny, Fornells, Bowen and Antonio look fluid and capable. Absolutely love it. Everyone's delighted. And why wouldn't you be watching this? This is an absolute joy, isn't it?
You know, I'm actually relaxed now. It's been a long time since I've seen a West Ham team play this well. And, you know, you're looking at it and Pinky, you're not sort of thinking, well, you know, they're going to score a couple in a minute, or are you?
Well, they've just played a ball across the box there. Again, they get the cross in and Sufo heads clear this time. But there was a dangerous looking ball there, just as you were saying all that. And I'm thinking, shut up, Graham, shut up. But we've brought the ball away now. Antonio's, well, we've lost it, but we've got the ball away now. But yeah, you were saying all that right at the wrong time, mate.
but what I would say is, if we're still playing this game next Sunday, I can't see Palace getting another goal. We're utterly dominant. I mean, the biggest risk to us is ourselves. You know, if we get too overconfident, commit too many players forward. But you know, we are knocking the ball around here. You know, and I guarantee you, were we there tonight, the LAs would have been ringing out for about the last 30 minutes. We are battering Crystal Palace on their own turf. I mean, you know, this is the sort of performance by them that gets a manager the sack. You know, and they don't look like they're doing it for their manager. Let me put it that way. It doesn't strike me as a happy ship. Our team, on the other hand, they're playing with a smile on the face, almost from 1 to 11, knocking the ball about, spraying passes left, right, and centre, winning second balls, first balls, you name it. You know, we're really good tonight. I mean, you know, this isn't a fluke result. This is, dare I say it, the only disappointment is 3-1 rather than 5 or 6. It really is that one-sided.
What's changed, Pinky? Because it's only 5 weeks ago that we played this. No,
another ball played across that corridor of uncertainty, but that's superb interception there, and we're now on the attack. But there was Souček brought the ball away. That was marvellously well, but we did leave them a lot of space on their left there, far too much for my liking. And that's the second time they've put the ball across that dangerous space in front of the keeper in the 6-yard box, and nobody's got on it. So yeah, let's not take our foot off the pedals, guys. Let's you know, there's goal difference to be thought of here. So
keep it going, says Gnome. There's still another 15 minutes or so to go. Yeah, Pinky, I was just going to say, well, what's changed? Because we played this lot at Stratford 5 weeks ago, and you know we struggled to. We ended up with a point from that one, but you know it wasn't the best performance. But here we are, we're absolutely tearing them a new one. What's the difference?
Confidence. I mean, you know, winning breeds confidence. You know, the same way that losing saps confidence. And tonight we've played like a team that just it doesn't think it's going to lose anytime soon. You know, and therefore players will make passes, you know, will make runs, and I think as well, if you actually look at the recruitment that we've done in the last year, in the last 12 months.
Yeah,
we've brought in a bit of energy in Souček, a bit of energy in Bowen, a bit of energy in Kufal. You know, we've suddenly got, you know, 4-0's okay, come a bit sooner than that, but we've actually got a younger team where it matters, where we can get around the pitch and compete. And, you know, dare I say it, we are that elusive goal scorer away from being really top draw, because tonight it probably isn't going to matter. But the 3 or 4 chances that we haven't taken tonight against better teams than Crystal Palace would matter. And whilst I'm sure David Moyes will be delighted with what he's seen tonight, he'll also, I'm sure, be pointing out to the chairman, you know, we didn't score there, we didn't score there, we didn't score there. And that's the difference. You know, it really is the difference. Dare I say it, a player like Cavani, someone of his pedigree, would have had a hat-trick tonight, no question. No question.
Yeah, well, you know, we're always striving for more. I guess that's key. And 3-1 up, could be 5 or 6. This is an absolutely fantastic West Ham performance so far. Now, Rio, I know I put you on the spot at times in the stream when we're looking at stats and stuff, and I'm trying to recall. Yeah, I'm trying to recall when the last occasion was that West Ham United won 6 matches in a row. Maybe that's. I don't know if you've had a look already, or you know, in anticipation of it potentially happening tonight.
No, I do want to put the mockers on it, mate. To be honest. No, I'm thinking it's got to be in the 80-81 season. To be honest,
Okay.
I certainly can't remember it. I think the last time we won 5 in a row, I know we mentioned the 85-86 season. That was league games only, I think. But we did win 5 under Pardew in the 2005-06 season as well.
Okay.
But 6 in a row hasn't happened for a hell of a long time. We'll have to do a little bit of homework on that one.
Okay, if anyone can help Rio with that one, do let us know. The last occasion on which West Ham won 6 competitive matches in succession. Just seen Ryan Fredericks. I don't know if he's on Pinky on your stream, but I'm just seeing him warming up and fully kitted up. Gnome, I should point out as well. But yeah, Pinky, I don't know if he's on yet or not.
Not I've seen, but I've just noticed one interesting stat on the Palace website, on the Holmesdale net. They've got 14 players out of contract this summer.
Wow.
How many of their players you've seen there tonight look like they think they're playing for a contract?
Yeah.
You know, and they've got all the hallmarks of a team that the manager won't be there next season. Half the players won't be there next season. And dare I say it, if you were a club in the bottom 3 or 4 at this point in time, you'd want to be playing Crystal Palace on tonight's showing, because you think there's a chance of 3 points there. This is not a happy ship we're looking at from Palace. This is a club that is treading water at best. There may be trouble ahead, to the extent that one of their supporters has just posted Frank Lampard's available. I mean, you know, I've been saying they're bad, but come on, they're not that bad. You know.
Gnome, you were coming in there.
Couple of points. Firstly, Zaha for the first time got a run down the left on Soufal, got to the byline, crossed the ball back, but it was cleared. I think he's hurt himself sort of trying to get the ball across. Secondly, the Fredericks substitution has now been made. He's on for Bowen. That's just happened just this second now. So we haven't missed any play. It's been, as we brought the ball away, there was a foul, I think, on, I can't remember, it was on now, it was so long ago because we had the substitution. But ball played long anyway up to Antonio, who wins it, but it falls to Jordan Ayew. And this is all happening deep in Palace territory. So we've got, 8.5 minutes left, plus stoppage. there'll be a fair bit of stoppage when you think about it because of the Cahill and Chiarte and their little tete-a-tete. Yeah, that's where we are in the game anyway.
Okay, good stuff. Jack Wilshere, remember him? He scored for Bournemouth tonight. They're winning. They're beating Crawley in an FA Cup tie. Wilshere scoring his first goal for the Cherries since returning there for his second spell. Of course, no concern of ours anymore, but just pointing that one out. Anyway, as Gnome says, we've just got 8 minutes or so left to go. It's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 3. It could be Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 7 or 8. Hit the post a couple of times. Antonio has gone very, very close. The keeper making a good save from a Chiarte almost own goal. Great stuff, Pinky, so far. And, it's as I said, we're sitting back thoroughly enjoying this one. It's great to watch.
It is, and you can't knock our sporting sort of, contribution as well. We're trying to give Palace a chance. Yarmolenko's coming on now, so they can't say we're played dirty or anything like that. Yeah, we're bringing on Yarmo, who can hurt teams in, the opposition in their half and us in our half. I say it every week, but we've been good tonight. Let's not be falsely modest tonight. We've played some terrific football. We've got 3 goals away from home, so the goal difference is going to improve by at least a couple here tonight. And I don't think we've seriously looked trouble at all. I mean, dare I say it, the opening goal was just a case of we were a little bit on the bus still, but other than that, Palace have shown precious little. And when they have tried, Rice and Souček in the middle have just killed them stone dead. I mean, it's a consummate performance from West Ham tonight. We've been very, very good indeed.
Yarmolenko indeed on for the excellent Mikhail Antonio. Unfortunately, leaves the field without a goal to his name. Rio, we have an answer to our question. The last time West Ham won 6 competitive matches in succession. Don't know if you've seen it there. Sorry,
No.
Wait for me. Oh, you've seen it.
I've just done a little bit of homework. I haven't seen it, but I've just done my own little bit of homework.
Okay. What have you got for us?
We did win 9 league games in a row in the 85-86 season.
Wow.
And we also did that in the 80-81 season. But I hadn't seen the other answer. So if someone's usurped me, fair play.
Well, no, Jeff Hathaway has said it was 1919, so I'm not sure he's been entirely.
No, I remember it well.
We're in the closing stages. It's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 3. West Ham going great guns at the moment, and I'm going to say it. I don't care. We're going to be in the top 4 at the end of this, and we're going to be above Liverpool. Gnome, over to you.
Yeah, just saying, Palace. I mean, we've got 6 minutes, 5 minutes and stoppage left. Palace have had a couple of efforts. Zaha curled one wide, and MacArthur's just had a shot from the edge of the box. Again, more a case of, I think, of we're having a little bit of a breather now, and but neither occasion did either player really look like scoring. And as Rice now bursts forward, plays the ball, Fredericks gets it tangled up, but we still retain possession. Fornals, lovely footwork from Fornals, and Fredericks has just got it tangled up in his feet again for the second time in a couple of seconds, and runs it out for a goal kick.
Good effort. Actually, going back to that MacArthur effort, no, it wasn't too far wide, was it? It was pretty close.
It's one of those that the crowd will go ooh for, but the keeper's not losing any sleep over it, I think.
Okay, Marrakesh Tall Trees pointing out that Jeff Hathaway might be suggesting that that year he gave 1919 might have been the last time we won 6 games in a row at the start of a calendar year. So I don't know, Jeff, if you can clarify that point. Sorry if you thought I was taking the mickey. I wasn't at all. But 9 games, 1985, 86 and 80, 81. 9 games in succession. Rio has found out. Our man with his finger on the pulse. The stats man.
Another sub.
Oh, no. West Ham, 3rd substitution.
Yeah, and the skipper, Mark Noble's coming on for Ben Rama, who's put in a shift today. He just walks past Moyes, who's directing things on the pitch, Moyes doesn't seem to even acknowledge Ben Rama there, who's which I think Moyes was a bit preoccupied there, but Rice has put the captain's armband onto Noble's arm, and so yeah, that's the third and final sub, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. What's the rule with that one in terms of, you know, a match day captain and a club captain? Is that normally the way these things pan out? Where, you know,
there's no rule in the laws of the game. The captain has no.
No, but I mean, is that
status.
I get that, but is that the way you've seen it go in the past, where, you know, the club captain would, or the match day captain would concede, you know, the captaincy
it's happened,
in that situation?
It's happened a couple of times where Rice has handed the armband over to Noble,
Yeah.
but on at least one occasion this season it didn't, and I think that may be because Noble came on with about 2 nanoseconds left. Yeah, there was enough time for him to step on the pitch before I think Rice would have wasted his breath running over that side of the pitch to hand it to him. But I think it's just a little symbolic thing from Rice saying, acknowledging the skipper and the fact that you'll always be my boss, sort of thing. But
yeah,
it's just Rice is the future skipper, isn't he? I mean,
yeah.
When Nobes finally sort of hands up his boots, then they won't be looking for anybody else for the role.
No, for sure, and he certainly won't be going to Chelsea now. Anyway.
Telling everybody Rice is rubbish and you don't want him. So,
yeah. Jeff Hathaway confirming that his reference was indeed to a calendar year. It was stated on the apparently on the stream BT commentary earlier in the evening. So 1919, the last time West Ham won 6 consecutive games at the start of a calendar year. 102 years, goodness gracious. Jeremy Nicholas also,
haven't you? The one doing the rounds, that there's been 2 presidents of the USA since Liverpool last won a game. There's one doing the rounds.
Well, we don't have to worry about Liverpool anymore. We're looking down now to them in the table as far as the
hours anyway. Yeah.
yes. Jeremy Nicholas, friend of the show, making a good point on the live stream. In the 1985-86 season, we didn't see many games on TV because of the strike. This time round, we're only seeing them on TV.
Yeah.
So very good point. Very good point, Jim. Thank you for pointing that
out.
Jim. We are rapidly approaching the end of regulation time now. It's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 3. The Hammers strolling to victory here at Selhurst Park. And it's rare that we look so comfortable as we have done tonight. It's been an absolutely superb performance from the Hammers since the 2nd minute or the 3rd minute when we went behind to that early Zaha goal. The Hammers have never looked back. Looked absolutely superb. About time we start thinking perhaps of man of the match nominations. Pinky, I'll come to you first for that one. Who's really took your eye tonight out of the West Ham players?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I got A levels for easier questions than that. I mean, it's been a really good team performance tonight. No question.
Tough choice.
Is that 6 minutes added on? So
6 minutes, yeah.
So looking through it tonight, dare I say it, I'd have to give it to Souček because he's banged 2 goals tonight. And ultimately that's going to be the difference between the 2 sides. But you could give it to Rice, but I mean, can we give it to Rice every single game? And I think almost just for the sake of change, but you give it elsewhere. But I think Souček tonight, his all-round play tonight has been decent. He's bagged a brace. What more do you want from someone in midfield? Yeah, So to me, I'll give it to Thomas Souček.
Great stuff, thank you, Pinky. Gnome, who are you thinking of? Who's sort of stood out for you?
It's a tough one tonight, as Pinky said. Sorry, just got a collector's item there. Sahar went to ground, having actually been fouled. So Declan Rice caught him, but I was kind of confused by that. I mean, there are lots of candidates. I think, I'm not going to give it to Rice because he's rubbish. So I think Souček again, but really, it's been a marvellous team performance. I don't think you could say anybody's not contributed to that performance. Sorry, I'm just looking at Zaha sulking again. It's just every time you look at the ball, he's fed up about something. Palace have got a corner at the moment. If you want to stick with me for it,
yes, some action on the pitch. Yes,
yeah.
Let's stick with that.
But Eze signals. Again, it doesn't beat the front post. It's like watching us of old when we never used to do that. Eze's on the ball again. Dinks a cross in. Again, a bit of head tennis, but it's out of the edge of the box. Palace desperately trying to salvage a goal out of this. Don't let one in now, guys. Yeah, Cresswell plays it out, and it's Fornals is bringing it away now down the right wing. So he's caught by Chiarti, and Fornals goes down. I thought Chiarti may have got the ball there, but I think maybe just Fornals has landed awkwardly there. But yeah, tough decision. I'll give it to Souček for the 2 goals, but they're just going to show that challenge on Chiarti. Yeah, I think he gets the ball. It's just player afterwards. No, it's the follow through from the non-ball playing leg actually comes through. So sometimes they give those. Let's see what he's given here. Fornals is limping around, but yeah, it was a throw in anyway. Yarmolenko pulls the ball back, and we're on here. Noble is playing out, and that's Fornals. Yarmolenko. Oh, there's an offside in the build-up. I thought it was offside, but one of those ones where they play on for about half an hour and then give the offside as an afterthought, you know.
Okay, we are rapidly approaching the end of added on time. Just 2 and a bit minutes to go here in the added on 6. West Ham comfortably ahead at Crystal Palace. The Hammers are going to be 4th in the Premier League after 20 games, Rio. Amazing stuff. But who out of the team has stood out most for you tonight?
I think the obvious candidates would be Declan Rice, who's been absolutely garbage again tonight, and he's not worth signing at all. Don't touch him, anybody. Obviously, Souček with 2 goals and some imperious play in the middle has been outstanding. I think Pablo Fornals has had another great game, linking up play and creating chances. But I'm going to give it to Kufal. I think the way he's gone down the right-hand side, linked up with the forwards and the midfield really well. And he's made Wilfried Zaha look a bit silly at times, and not just in appearance either. As in the footballing terms, he's made him look silly. So,
here we go, lads.
Has had an absolutely fantastic game tonight. So he gets my vote.
2 for Souček, 1 for Kufal. Gnome, over to you as he throws his head back in dismay.
Fornals, we broke. Obviously, Palace desperately trying for a last gasp goal. An attack broke down. Yarmolenko and Fornals. Yarmolenko worked at the Fornals, who went barely through on goal. Yarmolenko sort of came up, overlapped him alongside him. I think Fornals really should have been looking for him. Kind of just ran into traffic at the end, but you know there was a goal there if we wanted it, and did it sensibly. But it's really now we're just at the last knock. He's got 1 minute to play, and I mean, yeah. Just to touch on what Rio was saying there, as Rio was saying, Soufal, I was just watching him make a couple of interceptions and tidy up, and I was just thinking, you know, he's not had a bad game either, and Rio basically read my mind. But as we were saying, any number of players could have had that gong tonight.
You can't change your mind now. You've already gone for.
Oh no, I'm not.
Yeah, it's been that sort of night.
Yeah, what a good team performance it was.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Everyone is a candidate out there. I mean, personally, I think I was looking at Dawson, because I think he's had another great game at the back. A couple of brilliant challenges, interceptions in the game, and of course scoring the header. Alvin Martin-esque, as described by Pinky earlier in the game. But I'm going to give my man of the match award to Ben Rama tonight, because I've been thoroughly critical of him in recent weeks. You know, I've criticised him for not having any end product.
We've just let in a goal. 8 minutes after, 8 seconds after the 96 had finished. Nicely worked goal, to be fair. But yeah, we were already in the changing room for this one. Just looking at it now, there's Riedewald and not sure that's involved, but nice little back heel from it's McCarthy going through. And IU, nice little back heel. and it's Batshuayi just gets on the end of it and tucks it past Fabianski. Gives the game a totally unrealistic scoreline of 3-2. And there's, I think that might well be, yeah, there's your final whistle. Disappointing end to the game. Yeah, because we murdered them and make it look 3-2 win. It's just totally unrealistic, really.
That is it, as Gnome says. That is the final whistle at Selhurst Park. It has finished. Crystal Palace 2, West Ham United 3. The score really not representing what we've seen for the last 96 or 97 minutes on the pitch. The Hammers, absolutely fantastic tonight, teaching Palace a footballing lesson, and a win, wait for it, a win that takes West Ham up to 4th in the Premier League, above reigning champions Liverpool. Might only be for 24 hours, but who cares? We're there on merits now. After 20 games in the season as well, West Ham up to 35 points from 20 games. The goals coming as early as the 3rd minute, the opening goal coming from Wilfried Zaha for Palace, scoring with the very first attack of the game after 2 minutes and 46 seconds to be precise. West Ham only behind for 6 minutes, however, as Thomas Souček nodded home and Michail Antonio crossed at the near post to level the scores. The Hammers taking the lead for the first time in the game on 25 minutes when a deep Aaron Cresswell free kick found Souček at the far post. We had a little bit of a VAR check to see if the people at Stockley Park could call the goal out or cancel it for some reason. They couldn't find a reason. It stood, and that's how it stood at the half-time interval. West Ham 2-1 ahead. The Hammers going further ahead later in the game. And I can't find it on my sheet, but there was a 3rd goal anyway. West Ham, terrible. These notes are terrible. Like they've been written by a 5-year-old. Look at the state of this. Anyway, West Ham did go 3-1 up. And of course, Palace scoring in the 7th minute of adding on time to add a little bit of respectability to the scoreline that, in truth, they never really deserved. West Ham up to 4th in the Premier League. Scenes. Incredible stuff, Rio, for West Ham. Your initial post-match thoughts, please.
Let's take that goal at the end, took a gloss off of what has been one of the best performances we've seen for months, to be honest. We started really slowly, made a terrible error, but we rebounded, and it wouldn't be remiss of me to say that a 7 or 8-1 victory would have been the order of the day. We really did deserve it. We played some fantastic free-flowing football. Yeah. We defended resolutely. We made some so-called classy players look incredibly ordinary tonight. It's just a magnificent performance. I can't fault any single player of ours. We defended resolutely. Dawson and Ogbonna were superb in the middle. Kufal was a magnificent all game. Every one of our midfield players contributed and looked threatening. And Mikel, with a little bit of luck and his shooting boots on, could have easily notched a hat-trick. I'd say 7-1, 8-1 wouldn't have flattered us. Fair play to Palace, that goal at the end. Nice with the work move, but that was after Lord Mayor show, wasn't it? It's just a cursory kind of nod to the fact that there was actually in the game.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you, Rio. Gnome, over to you. Your thoughts on the final whistle of what you've just witnessed here this evening?
Yeah, Rio summed it up perfectly, I think. If we got a decent score, like 7-1, wouldn't have flattered us at all. There was a little shot towards the end of the game of Antonio in his seat in the stand, looking very cheesed off with himself, because he won't have a better chance of getting a hat trick in a game, unless we play Norwich again. And so he looked a little bit sort of, how the hell didn't I score in that game? You could tell what was going through his mind. We have, as Ray said, we've battered them. That scoreline doesn't reflect it. Does reflect a little bit what we've been saying. We need to be switched on for the whole 95, 96 minutes, and not just the bits in between the first couple of minutes either side at the beginning and at the end. But you know, if Palace had got anything out of that game, it would have been a travesty. And long may that continue.
Yeah, very, very much so. The third goal, West Ham's third goal, of course, coming from Craig Dawson in the 65th minute that I'd neglected to write down on my notes.
Everyone else knew that, Graham.
Did. For anyone who wasn't watching the game anyway, there you go. And West Ham did, of course, hit the post a couple of times as well. Michail Antonio on both occasions with the shots in the 27th and 39th minutes. As Gnome says, you know, we could have been even further ahead. And as Lawrence Salmon says on the YouTube live chat, the post played very well for Crystal Palace tonight. Indeed, it did, probably their best player. Mr. Palermo, Crystal Palace 2, West Ham United 3. The Hammers up to 4th in the Premier League. What's going on?
Well, let's just look at that league table, shall we? In 13th place, Crystal Palace with a lowly 23 points. In 11th place, Arsenal Football Club, the Bank of England club, self-styled, with 27 points. In 9th place, Chelsea. Yeah. Well, you know, West London and all that, you'd think they'd have a bit of class, but seemingly not. 29 points. In 6th place, yeah, you know, and I'm struggling now, is Tottenham Hotspur, 33 points. Oh, look, in 4th place, the top team in London, West Ham United, played 20, won 10, drawn 5, lost 5, 35 points, and 11 from 15 run of form. You can't ask for more than that, can you? And we certainly couldn't tonight, because I thought at times tonight we were a fraction short of sensational at times. Not quite sensational, but very, very good tonight, and playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of team spirit. I mean, you asked me earlier what's changed. I think there's a real team spirit there tonight that you know, highlighted Crystal Palace's lack of team spirit, really, and lack of collectiveness. We're seeing that in 1 or 2 clubs recently, but not at West Ham United. So whatever the manager and coaching staff are doing, they're doing it well. And we saw a little glimpse of it at the end there. You know, when Mark Noble came on, we all know where Nobes is in his career. Nobes knows where he is in his career. You know, they've just started these kind of like the farewell stuff on the official site kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when he comes on, young Declan Rice, clearly the star player in our starting 11 these days. You know, the one top draw English asset that we've got, dare I say it, without offending any of our Irish supporters. You know, doesn't hesitate, hands in the captain's armband, doffs the cap, so to speak. Little things like that really matter in terms of, you know, a team spirit and so forth. And I thought we were really good tonight. We battered Crystal Palace. We were first to the ball many, many times. Yep. Second balls, we won the challenges. We were aggressive when they were passive. We ran hard when they were jogging. You know, we saw real application from our team tonight and a desire to win. And you know, you win again. Dare I say it? What did David Moyes say? Winning, it's what I do. People actually poked fun at him for that. There you go. 4th spot. You can't argue with it. Well played, West Ham. Really good tonight.
Yeah, they may have poked fun of him, but no one's laughing now looking at West Ham. And just looking ahead, you know, I'm just wondering how far this way. You know, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, Rio, here, but just how good a season could this be now?
It's a strange one, isn't it? We've seen all season results not go to form all across the league. The absence of fans has made a huge difference to things.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's impossible. Who would have thought the start of the season, after that turgid performance at home to Newcastle, we looked threadbare, devoid of ideas, devoid of class at times. That how many games is it now? Another 19 games later, we're sitting pretty in 4th place. We're 5 points from safety. But we look so well drilled as a unit, so compact at the back. We attack with free-flowing intent. We've got creative players all over the place. We're still lacking a striker. I think with a proper striker, we could be top. You know that. Yeah. If we had a natural finisher, we could easily be top. It's just unreal, isn't it? In a season where a lot of things have just gone against the grain completely, I'm not putting anything beyond this club, because at the moment we look so full of confidence, so together as a unit, that dare I dream, dare I regress into my 14-year-old self, like the days of 1985, 86, where I'm thinking we can win the league. I never thought I'd ever say it again. Here I am looking at the way we're performing over the last few games, looking at the league table thinking, bloody hell, we could do this. And we could. A little bit of luck steering clear of injuries. No, nothing is impossible. It's on. The double's on.
There you go. That's Rio's verdict. Anything's possible. And, you know, I make you absolutely right, Rio. In this season, we've seen some bizarre results, some bizarre performances, and who knows? Gnome, let's... should we be a bit more realistic? You know, could we qualify for Europe this year? Could we make the Champions League? Could we win the bloody league? What do you think?
I think, listen, bitter experience tells us that no matter how good things get, something silly is always just around the corner with West Ham. So I don't think of all the clubs in the top 6, 7, or 8. I think our supporters are the ones who are the least likely to get carried away at this point. I think Rio summed it up beautifully by pointing out that another 5 points and we'll probably be safe from relegation. And that's the sort of, sort of self-deprecating humour, if you like. But let's just ride the wave, see how far it takes us. It'd be interesting to see what David Moyes had to say, but unfortunately, BT have gone straight to the West Man City, West Brom, or West Brom Man City, whichever way round, and not Wolves game. So I've been scouring around to see if there's any sort of interview online, but let's just ride it. I think. We're top 4 for tonight. Liverpool and Spurs play tomorrow, and depending on the result, and then one of those will probably sneak above us for the time being. But hey, it's nice while it's there, though. We're definitely going to be in the sort of upper echelons of the league. Let's just carry on playing as we are. Let everybody underestimate us, and see what happens at the end.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Pinky, best performance of the season so far, perhaps?
Difficult one, because you've got to factor in the calibre of the opposition. Certainly one of the more attractive ones on the eye, and just to emphasise the improvement. After 19 games last season, Liverpool Football Club were 33 points ahead of West Ham, something like that. They're now behind us in the league table. It's just we've become an awful lot better, and one or two teams aren't quite performing where you might think they would. So just to go back to what you say, how far can we go here? I don't think we're going to win the league. I don't think Rio does. I don't think Gordon does. And I'm sure as shit don't think you do either. But I've been sticking around the 7th spot all season, saying, you know what, it'll be 7th or 8th. 6th or even 5th isn't beyond the wit of man. It really isn't. It'll hinge on a couple of games, but it's not impossible. And we'll come back to the old story of, can we get a striker in? Will the chairman actually be brave enough to open the checkbook again and say, we'll get somebody in to try and get us those goals that will just make the difference. Because, okay, we had a difficult start tonight, but, you know, you've got to be honest, you know, that's all Palace had was an opening 2 minutes. So for my money, you know, we could still climb the table, you know, over a sustained period, maybe sixth, maybe fifth, something of that nature. One thing I'm absolutely clear on, we should try to be the very best we can be. And the chairman really should be getting his checkbook out, because I think David Moyes has earned that. I think he's earned enough to say, do you know what? Show me the bad signings I've made. Show me the bad players I've asked you to spend some money on. So for me, I think Palace were poor tonight. So I'm not sure it was our absolute best performance of the season. But there were times tonight, dare I say it, we were playing some sexy football, you know, and playing with real confidence. And that's not something I've seen in a West Ham team for 20 years. You know, okay, we all go about the Payet season, all that, but that was really about one or two players. I'm talking about a collective team effort. It's been a long time since I've seen us have such a solid team, and that's the key there. You know, it's 6 weeks now before we've been saying Cresswell is finished. No one said that for 6 weeks. You know, and it's kind of like we're now reduced to picking on a relatively new recruit because he isn't looking like Maradona after 4 matches. If you get my drift.
Yeah.
So that's the level we're at now. So very, very happy. I think we've got a bit further to go. But I would just temper tonight's performance with the calibre of the opposition. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Roy Hodgson 1 or 2 defeats away from the sack at Crystal Palace. I think if they continue to drift down the table, the Palace board might just say, do you know what? We can't afford to go down here. Because attracting players as a Premier League club is a lot easier than attracting players as a Championship club. And I think that's Roy Hodgson under a bit of pressure there now.
Yeah, well, we'll watch that one, of course. Roy Hodgson's team, no match for David. David Moyes, of course, one manager whose job certainly isn't under any pressure tonight, and the opposite, in fact. He's probably the safest manager out of anyone in the Premier League after West Ham beat Crystal Palace. I mean, we keep looking at that score. It's only 3-2, but it was a demolition job by the Hammers tonight. We absolutely outplayed. And kind of going back to that point, Pinky, you know, I think we often criticise opposition fans for not giving us enough credit. You know, when they said that they played poorly against West Ham, if West Ham did well. And I just wonder if you're not giving us enough credit tonight. I mean, Palace have had some good results, you know, this year, pulled out the odd good result, and they were under par tonight because you know, we didn't let them play, did we? And that's certainly the case, I think. But not the greatest side, but I get what you're saying. It's got to be 10. We're not playing Manchester
much the better team, don't get me wrong, but I just think this thing without supporters in the stadiums, there is a lot more space on a football field this season. And we had the quality to exploit it tonight and the application to exploit it. My big gripe there with Crystal Palace tonight, I'm sweating more in my armchair here than half their team. Yeah, and that's why I'm just putting a little bit of caution against what we've seen there tonight, because had we played like Palace did tonight, we'd have 500 pages on KUMB of absolute dogs abuse. We all know it because I'd write 400 of them. Yeah. So you know, it's so, you know, Palace were poor, but we did what we had to do. And you could argue, you know, better finishing, it's 6 or 7.
Yeah, very much so. Well, we're going to look at the Palace forum very shortly, and I'm sure there'll be a fair amount of dogs abuse being handed out by their fans after what they've seen tonight. But first of all, before we do that, we're going to go to KUMB.com and look at our forum and just see what the Hammers are saying over there tonight, Rio. I know I just took a brief look myself a few moments ago. It's very, very busy over there. Everybody trying to get on and post some congratulations, I would imagine, for what they've seen tonight. What's the pick of the posts you're seeing so far?
It's nothing but gushing tributes about the way we played and the result. In what's been a pretty terrible year for everybody on this planet, you know, West Ham fans, if you want to take a little bit of comfort and a little bit of heart, read the next thread of today's game. It will cheer you up, because there's not one negative comment flying about the place. And normally everyone picks holes in the tiniest of details, but today everyone is on board. Just a few of the comments come across. Smuts has put, that result has proper flattered them. They look miles better with bats and you buzzing around up top though. I'm glad they come on so late. Thought we were superb tonight. We never stopped running. We hunted and broke in packs. And on another night, Antonio walks off with a match ball. Rice, Dawson, Oggy, Souček, Fornells were all great, and Ben Rama looked a real threat. Fourth is an amazing achievement. Sadly, though, I always think that the board will see it as job done and won't bring in the backup. We need to maintain it. Exiled in Cardiff put, Fornells was my man of the match. He makes a difference, and tonight he was superb in his play. If only he could finish. Craig 2609, as complete as performance as you would hope to see. Bar the goal at the end. Work rate was unbelievable from every man. Rice and Souček controlled the midfield from their first goal onwards. Big Mike was a nuisance, and other night would have had a hat-trick. Man of the match for me was Ben Rama. He hit a shot in the first half and always looked disgusted. From then onwards, he was more patient in his play and his creating. His work rate again was from a creative player. Tracking back, making tackles, he was absolutely fantastic. Moyes is really building the mentality of this club. See if subs bringing on the young lad up top. Long may it continue. Very happy Hammer. Tenbury, good performance against a pretty abysmal side. Could and should have had 6. Great performance from just about everyone. Ben looks more settled every game. And Vlad the Impaler had that bloke with a girl's haircut in his pocket all night. I could go on. A brand new member to the forum made his first ever post tonight. This is his second. And I'd like to say welcome aboard, mate. Keep on posting, please. Another 3 points, 4th in the league. I think the scoreline flatters Palace. We lost momentum in the end with the substitutions, but I hope Moyes is going to be able to get a player or two in before the end of the window, which will allow him to make more like-for-like substitutions. I'd love to believe the board will seize an opportunity for something great this season, but we know what they're probably thinking. Bonzo for Lagers, excellent entertaining performance. Good result, even allowing for their late second. No complaining. Hand a Dog, fantastic performance. Could have scored 6 easily. No one on that pitch did not give their all. Great job, boys. And that's another running theme. A lot of people are praising the work rate of our side tonight, and that's a joy to hear.
Yeah, very much so. Well, thank you, Rio. Some superb comments. Lovely to hear that from the fans. Everyone, as Rio said, they're on the same side for a change. No criticisms, which is absolutely amazing. Gnome, how are you getting on with David Moyes? Is there any sign of an interview?
Oh well, we're on speaking to. No, I can't find any sort of video or audio of it at the moment. Stuff is beginning to filter through onto the BBC Premier League live page. We've got not Moyes but Souček. Just a couple of words from him. I'm very happy because our performance was very good. This is the performance that we wanted to show everyone, and I hope we can carry that on. Our dressing room is beautiful. I'm presuming he doesn't mean the Palace building, of course. And we have so much confidence. I say every time, it doesn't matter who scores. I'm just happy to help the team, which I know that's the sort of thing that players sort of always say, it doesn't matter who scores. But, after a performance like that was a good team performance, you can see those words actually having some sort of meaning for once. I'll keep an eye out for any comments from Moyes, as I say, because the telly people went straight over to West Brom, Man City, which we're 4 minutes in. Other results tonight so far was Newcastle 1, Leeds 2. Magpies not having a good time of it at the moment. I think that's their 7th defeat in a row.
Yeah,
something like that. So they did bring it. They were 1-0 down. They did bring it back to 1-1 at one point, but as Man City hit the post there. Yeah, as I say, I'll keep an eye out if anything does come up and of any interest from the managers. They usually put it in. Score update: Southampton 1, Arsenal 0. Stuart Armstrong's just scored after 3 minutes.
Nobody likes to see that. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Some match stats from tonight. The final match stats of the game before we move on to the Holmesdale Net, just to launch into a bit of Schadenfreude at the expense of our Crystal Palace supporting fans. 54% to Palace, 46% to West Ham possession. Shots, Palace 6 shots with 3 on target. West Ham 17 shots with 7 on target. 3 corners to Palace, 4 to West Ham. Palace committing 9 fouls to West Ham's 8. I'm just waiting for the XG stats to come in. Nothing on that yet, but we'll come back to that in a little while. Yeah, as I said, we're going to dip over to Holmesdale.net now, which is a Crystal Palace forum, the equivalent of KUMB.com. I suspect, Pinky, the locals aren't quite as happy as we are right now. What are you seeing over there? And are you seeing the calls for Roy Hodgson's head?
Oh, yeah, plenty of them. I mean, here's a typical comment from N Wales Eagles, Landudno. Imagine that. You're from North Wales. The best option is to be a Crystal Palace supporter. That's when you know life's treating you not very fairly. But the individual's gone. David Moyes' side, total commitment. Roy's side, out for a stroll. Things have to change now, please. You know, it doesn't get much more straightforward than that. You know, you got here. Moving on to the next page of woe on here. What have we got here? The whole club is wrong and has been for a while. The age of our squad, the lack of decent signing and keeping Roy in charge. Our ambition is 17th place, and that after being in the Prem for 8 seasons now. An unacceptable lack of ambition in my eyes, and there are a few excuses. The Frank de Boer appointment was poor, as was keeping Pardew after the FA Cup final. You know, I mean, it just goes on. It's you know, Kenny Brown's left foot. Yeah, let's not forget we haven't just lost the game 3-1. It could have easily have been 5 or 6. This is what is most concerning. We're conceding goals at an alarming rate, and we aren't just being beaten. We're being completely outclassed in every department. Yeah, Rob Dave 2K. A good manager makes the sum greater than the individual parts. A good manager adopts their tactics. A good manager makes players better. What exactly is our manager, who considers himself as good as Ferguson, doing? So there's no love. There's no love here for Roy Hodgson. A 1-3 absolute hiding. 6, 7, or 8 wouldn't have been unfair. Shocker. You know, just all the way through, it is nothing but. There you go. Palazzo Vecchio. It should have been 10 goals for them. You know, I mean, I'm struggling to find a single positive comment about a single Palace player or their manager or Croydon or wherever, anywhere south of the river, really. It's they're kind of basically admitting that they've given up. 3-2 is unjust. Should have been 5 or 6 if Antonio was on it. Unfortunately, the scoreline will probably hide how poor we were, but they didn't use the word poor. You know, 2-3 just doesn't tell the gulf in the performances. It just let Roy off a bit. You know, I mean, it is a battering from their own supporters, and I suggest, Graham, you start on the opposition view before you go to bed tonight. You'll still be pulling nuggets out Sunday or Monday. I mean, it's just page after page of, you know, we are in seriously deep trough. Should Roy stay? You know, I mean, the one thing that's really leapt out at me here tonight was the 14 players out of contract in the summer.
Yeah.
So in terms of club management at a macro level, at a senior executive level, that's serious mismanagement on one scale. Dare I say it, maybe someone's planning for a wholesale change of ownership. maybe someone is saying we're not going to put any more money into it this season because of the whole COVID thing. Maybe the Palace supporters are giving their board or their manager too much stick because 40 players that contract where no one knows when you can get a supporter back in the stadium, particularly at a club where the gate money probably matters a bit, as it would do at Crystal Palace. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of corporate down there.
Yeah.
Might not be the worst position to be in, but you just get the feeling their supporters are going, we've had enough of this. It's you know, Roy is definitely at his sell-by date. There's no question of that. And as I say, another 1, maybe 2 defeats, and I'd expect them to have the vacancy sign up.
Okay.
There's even one guy in here saying Pulis is a better option. So that's Frank Lampard and Tony Pulis. You know, you're in trouble when they're the names being advanced. You know,
I think the chances of Pulis going back to Palace, given the circumstances surrounding his departure, are pretty remote.
Yeah, that way. And just when you think the night's not going to get any better, Sam Allardyce's West Bromwich Albion are trading 1-0 to Man City. So you know, it's Palace are in all sorts of trouble down there. And you know, if I was Scott Parker at Fulham, I just might be saying to my players, do you know what? There's another club that's going to get dragged into it, lads. So don't give up here.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what you want when you're fighting relegation is you want 5 or 6 clubs, you know, having to actually battle away and scrap and take points off each other, all those sorts of things. And so, you know, I'd say the big winner tonight was probably Fulham, because for us, it's nice to be in the top 4, but this just nudges Palace in the wrong direction in a game that they might have fancied at home. They could get something tonight, and all they got was an absolute hiding from West Ham.
Yeah, they certainly did. Pinky, thank you for keeping an eye on the Palace forum for us this evening and bringing us their woes, quite frankly. And as Pinky said, the opposition view on KUMB.com tomorrow promises to be a feast for anyone tuning in. So keep an eye on that. That will be live for you at some point in the morning. Gnome, interesting point made on the YouTube chat by one of our regulars, Hobo. Hello, by the way, to Elaine tuning in again. Our lucky charm. We've won every game since Elaine started joining us on the live chat. So stick with us, Elaine. You're bringing us good luck, clearly. Hobo Gnome says, to be fair, our dispensing of the poorer opposition is one of the biggest improvements West Ham have made this season. Strikes me as a really good point. We've often, well, for years, haven't we? We've always said that West Ham have the capacity to up their game against the bigger and the better teams. But when it comes to teams, you know, floundering or in or around us in the league, we perform rather less well. Looking at the results this year against those teams, you know, we've pulled off some good wins, beating Fulham. You know, all the teams around us, Sheffield United going up there, beating Leeds, pulling off, you know, decent results, beating Burnley, West Brom, you know, the list goes on. And I think it's a really good point. I mean, would you agree with that? That's really been one of our biggest improvements this year. You know, we've still gone out and performed well against the Leicesters and the Wolves, you know, our peers, I guess. But, you know, beating those teams really has been a huge contribution, has it not, to our, you know, improved performance?
Yeah, I think you can track that back to when we came back after lockdown last season, and you look at the results. And I mean, we started to beat the teams that were of that ilk a little bit more. I think we didn't play very well against Burnley, but we gained confidence from the defeat of Chelsea, which, you know, the Yarmolenko goal at the end there was just sort of like turned the switch on a bit. And then, you know, when we needed it, we beat Watford, who, you know, was a potentially tough game. Norwich was never going to be that tough, but we'd never played well up there. So it all helped, sort of thing. But yeah, even when we haven't played particularly well. I mean, the Fulham game we could quite easily have dropped 2 points at, but you know, it's we're getting results, and you know, the oft maligned, and as Pinky pointed out earlier on, the saying of winning is what I do. You know, it's, well, I mean, Lord knows we all wish he'd started doing it a bit earlier in his career at West Ham, but hey, it's what he's doing. So I'm continually checking for any updates from the management. But
on that note, if I can just come in quickly there, I think David Moyes now has the best record of any West Ham manager in the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken.
It doesn't surprise me, because since we came back off that lockdown and got our act together, and I think the turning point was the Chelsea game, where we'd been the better side all the game, and it was looking like another game we were only going to end up with a point from, which I think we'd have taken the point before the game, but the 3 points were well deserved, and it was, you know, Lord knows what he says to them after games like that, but you know, it should have been something along the lines of, you know, you deserve that, and that's what you get against Chelsea. You know, when you actually put something into it, and yeah, we took that attitude. Okay, there are a couple of little blips along the way, but you know, the comment from Souček, you know, it seems a good, happy dressing room. There seems to be excellent spirit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we mentioned earlier on the little symbolic thing about Rice going over to Noble. You know, that's a team that's got a lot of time for each other.
Yeah,
and recognises things like that. And now it's just 2 or 3 times I've seen Rice do that, and I say there was once that he didn't, which and it really was. Yeah, if he'd stopped to do that, the game would have been over. But it's yeah, as I say, there are all these little signs that we're building up something, and another thing that's changed and that's improved, the injury list.
yes,
I mean, we've got a good sort of squad if we can keep everyone fit. Now, traditionally, we've never kept anyone fit. Antonio is the place where we've got very little in the way of cover, and that is always the big worry. But you know, it's January now. Usually, we've got sort of half a dozen on the sick at this point. But you know, it's Arthur and Randolph was today. So whether or not it's been the medical team or a change in training methods or what, I don't know. But you know, we need. I mean, God knows we need to keep everybody fit, because as we're getting sick into saying to we're blue in the face, you know, we're only a couple of hands
Gnome's
improved on that thing. Yeah, notwithstanding Antonio, it needed to have done. I've still got nothing from. Oh, hang on, I've got stuff now. I've got something from Hodgson.
Okay, well, let's hear what poor old Roy's got to say about that pretty humbling defeat tonight.
No, we start off with chosen subject, the bleeding obvious. I thought we lost to the better team. Our first half performance was nowhere near as good as we expected to be. As a result, we found ourselves coming in at half-time 2-1 down. Second half, we lost it to a set play, and when you're 3-1 down, even though we had a bit of a spurt in that period, it's very hard to score 2 goals against a team of West Ham's quality, and they took the points deservedly. There's a bit of stuff about their new loan signing, Jean-Philippe Mateta, who wasn't around tonight. And we're not playing to the level that we want to play. So any player that we bring in, we're expecting it to show something more than the players that are being selected. It's up to him to stamp his authority. Asked about his next, how big the next 6 games are. Every game's an opportunity. Every game you want to see your team play well. Yep. All we can do is lick our wounds, make sure we dust ourselves for the next game, and do to Wolves what West Ham did to us tonight. So, now not much he could say really. I mean, any suggestion of bad luck or stuff not going their way, really would have been laughed at, I think. But just goals update. It's and from the real nobody wants to see that Arsenal equalised a while back against Southampton through Pepe, so that's 1-1 there. Still 1-0 Man City West Brom.
Okay.
Superb finish from Good. His name is, but just having a laugh at other managers. Steve Bruce said something like, "That's the best we played in ages." So I don't see him on a bad run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll keep an eye out, as I say, for any more from. I think they've lost 7 in a row. I think we said, didn't we, Pinky?
7.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. Horrendous form for Newcastle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's never a happy place, is it, up there in the northeast, or at least it hasn't been since about 1996. It seems, when they were, Kevin Keegan would have loved it if they'd have pinched the title, but of course they never did, and they've never got close to it since. Rio, big game this weekend for West Ham. Top of the table clash. We face a Liverpool team on Sunday. I think it's Sunday. Who will go into that game where they're playing? Actually, they're playing this Sunday. They're playing Tottenham, of course, tomorrow, which is another interesting point because it means they'll have 24 hours less rest than West Ham will. But Liverpool going into that game tomorrow, only 1 win in their last 7 matches since they beat Crystal Palace 7-0. Funnily enough, they've only won once, and that was a 4-1 win against Villa. But draws against West Brom and Newcastle. Funnily enough, we're talking about Newcastle, and drew against Manchester United in the league. Since then, they've lost to Burnley. Incredible result. Lost at home to Burnley, and then beaten by Manchester United in the FA Cup, as we know, at the weekend. Can we beat them this weekend? I mean, Pinky pointed it out, didn't he? That at this point last season, there was something like 33 points difference between the two teams. But, here we are a year later. And yeah, as I say, can we beat Liverpool this weekend? Is that a distinct possibility now, given the way West Ham are playing and also the way that they're playing?
Absolutely. I thought we was unlucky we were up at Anfield earlier in the season.
Yeah.
And since then, they're showing a little bit of vulnerability, which they haven't shown really for over a year now. Klopp's under pressure. He's cracking a little bit. I think the nerves are filtering down, particularly into their midfield and their back line, which is, I wouldn't say ravaged by injuries, but they've got enough injuries to make them think about things. And they're showing a lot of vulnerability in defence, which we can more than exploit. If we play like we did today on the front foot, why not? Other teams who are worse than us have shown they're vulnerable. They can be beaten. So there's no reason in the world why we can't go into Sunday's game and take today's performance as a benchmark in terms of attacking ability and go for it and actually have them. We're also due a penalty. If we're going to get a penalty for the first time this season, I'd like it to be against no one better than them, because they seem to get more than their fair share, don't they? So about time the tables turned. And
you might just crack in here because of doing some sort of pre-match research for the weekend, and I was having a look at the Liverpool Echo, which is the worst newspaper in the world. It really, really is. And if you read their match report, they were talking about there was an article about and it was like it was written by a supporter and not a very erudite one, going on about how Manchester United are always diving and how they cheated their way to the 3-2 win in the cup the other day, and how the referees always get. And it just thought, is this the Liverpool who haven't won an honest title in their lives? But if you ever want to laugh, have a look at the Liverpool Echo. It is a god awful paper. It really is. Even you get the impression that they put up the headline the other week about one of the things the government were considering was giving £500 to people forced to stay at home with COVID. You got the impression that that headline was put up with a view to helping people claim, you know.
But what are you suggesting, though? Terrible.
But no, if you want all your stereotypes confirmed about that city, just read the Liverpool Echo. It is hilarious. It's hilarious.
Okay, well, looking ahead to that game on Sunday, Gnome, what are you thinking? You know, West Ham potentially could go into that game above Liverpool in the league now, which is a phenomenal turnaround, you know, on this time last year.
Yeah, as Pinky said, we were we were so many points times 10 to the power something behind them last year, and now at the moment, as we sit, we're above them. Yeah, I think we've got every chance of beating them. Even before tonight, and the fact that we've moved slightly above them, it was a game I was thinking that, you know, if I were a West Ham player, I would think back to the defeat up there, where for long periods of that game we were the better team. We were stitched up by Salah's outrageous dive, and that really was the turning point. Up to that point, they didn't look like scoring. And that really sort of, it hit us. And I would be saying, look, you know, most of you played in that game. There you go. Have a look at that. That's how much you were on top for most of that game.
Yeah.
You know, go get them. I think we're potentially as good a side as they are at the moment because of the way they're playing now. If they play at their full potential, and you look at how they did last season, fine. That we're not in that bracket. Let's not pretend, that we're at that level. But certainly the way they're playing, the way they've been playing at the moment, and certainly the way we've been playing at the moment, there's not an awful lot between those two sides. And we've shown in the past that we can turn them over. I just hope we just get an honest break at it. That's all I ask, because Lord knows over the years we don't against them. I mean,
yeah, for sure. It's big game, of course. Now, I mean, top of the table clash, isn't it? West Ham United versus Liverpool. Who'd have thought that just a year ago, Mr. Palermo? And do you agree with what Rio and Gnome are saying, that, we've got a real chance of, Klopp under pressure, David Moyes, in charge of, say it how it is, we are the form team in the Premier League right now.
Yeah, and I think we've got every chance on Sunday. You touched on Liverpool playing Thursday night against Tottenham Hotspur.
Thursday, it's not tomorrow.
It's Thursday.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And they're at Tottenham. They've then got to come to us. So do they go home for a day and then travel back to London? You put in all the fatigue of travelling and what have you. They've got a relatively long injury list. Their forward line isn't exactly firing on all cylinders at the moment because they're moving midfielders into the back line, and the midfielders that are stepping into play in place of the regular midfield aren't quite as good, so they're not feeding the ball into the strike team as well they have. But I'm just thinking about that top sort of six generally, and the difference between them and us this season. And it comes down to one player. Each of them has got one special player more than we've got. And whether it's Manchester United with Bruno Fernandes as making the real difference, whether it's Man City with Phil Foden, who I think is the pick of their crop this year, making the difference, whether it's the evergreen Jamie Vardy at Leicester City making the difference, whether it's Son at Tottenham Hotspur making the difference. That's how close we are. If you took those players from those clubs and put them in a West Ham shirt and said you're playing for West Ham now, we'd be top. You know, the gap has narrowed significantly, is the point I'm making this season. And this is why I say, you know, to David Sullivan, be bold, be brave. Now is the time. Now is the time. He won't, of course. He'll bottle it. He'll get cold feet, and then you lose the moment. But it's all about moments. And for my money, Liverpool will rock up on Sunday. I think we can beat Liverpool. And then suddenly we're above them by right in the league table, not by dint of, you know, games played and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And that's a real statement. And I just think we are the elusive one player short. But then I'll just say, let me put it into you all. If we signed a top draw striker, if we could find the 50, 60 million pounds that we're going to need, that means we're not playing with Antonio, who we've described as being a real threat this season, or we end up changing our system. And therefore, to get that extra player in, we've got to sacrifice something or someone. And would that just disrupt the whole team performance at this point in time? And that's why it's such a difficult job to get from where we are now, just one or two places higher. And I'd like to think we're going to be brave and sign someone in the next 48 hours. We probably won't. And dare I say it, yeah, we'll beat Liverpool on Sunday, but we'll lose to some mugs in April, you know, some no marks, and we'll finish probably in 6th and be just a bit disappointed. But I think Sunday, I think we can beat Liverpool. Absolutely.
Okay. I kind of disagree with you in terms of the sign. I think we will sign someone, but I'm fairly certain it's going to be a loan player or someone relatively cheap. You know, I certainly agree that Sullivan's not going to put his hand in his pocket and pull out 50 million to buy the player that, as you say, could make the difference. But just looking back at your point you made there, Pinky, you know, you spoke about Foden and Vardy and Son and Fernandes. Who's our equivalent at West Ham? Who's the one player that makes it tick?
It's Rice. Rice is
no.
no.
Not Rice.
I think it's Rice. Okay. You can build an argument that says Antonio makes the real difference. You can build an argument, dare I say it, that says Souček makes the difference. But Rice and Souček play in a position that aren't going to win you many games. They'll stop you losing. They'll help you win occasionally, but they don't hurt the opposition enough. And that's why a player like Foden or Fernandes makes such a difference for the clubs that I mentioned earlier.
Okay, but those are the players that cost money, of course. You know, to buy in the transfer market.
Yeah. So
okay.
So where was I wrong then? None. Who should I have?
It's anyone but Rice, because he's no good. Right?
Sorry, I've just woken up there and realised. Yeah, I'm trying to make a serious point here. Yeah, and you've absolutely done me there. You know, I'm looking between the legs and the ball's been played through. Thank you, Gordon.
Gnome, how are we doing with David Moyes? Anything coming yet, or
still nothing? Something that Liverpool won't like to see. But Man City are 3-0 up against West Brom. Gundogan's got a couple. Cancelo got a cracker as well, which was allowed after a VAR check. You know, that's just another team that are beginning to play streets ahead at a level ahead of what Liverpool are doing at the moment. And you know, it's they won't be relishing coming to the Olympic at the weekend. It's a case of, you know, where's your title gone? Sorry, just checking, just because the thing updated there, but still nothing from Mr. Moyes.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're going to have to wait for a bit later. I mean, obviously there'll be the regular updates on KUMB.com's homepage when we do get some content from David Moyes, and we'll post it there. But it doesn't look like we're going to get that tonight, which is unfortunate, because I imagine Mr. Moyes will be in absolute sparkling form in any media interviews he's giving this evening after his team produced.
Having said that, here he is.
Well, there we go.
Oh,
Gnome, over to you then. David Moyes.
Okay. Right, speaking to match of the day, we knew we had to start well. Palace had got a really good record of scoring early, and we were aware of it. So it was disappointing that we didn't start well. But to get a goal back was a big difference. We played very well, and I thought that we had another gear in us if we needed it. We passed it well, but I was a bit disappointed with the finishing. But overall, I'm pleased with how we played and the result. Mikel Antonio should have come away with the match ball, but he's won us games in recent weeks. So I hope he's keeping his goals for other games. He plays a big part to this team. He was asked how satisfying was it to look at the table, and he says, "Well, I've not looked at it since the game, but obviously being near the top is what I want. I want to manage a team up at the top and have a club to try and keep those standards up. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves and say we're going to make the Champions League. We'll just work as hard as we can." So pretty much what we said. Really, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's just, disappointed in the fact that we didn't win that seven or eight or however many chances we had, and let's just ride the wave. So there you go.
Great. Well, I'm glad you managed to get that one in, Gnome, before we go off air. But isn't it good to hear the manager be slightly disheartened when you've gone away from home and won 3-2? A sign of good things at the club. I just want to point out,
I've got a bit more if you want.
Oh, okay. Far away.
Stuff from Craig Dawson.
Yes.
Defensively, Craig Dawson, we were really disappointed to concede 2 goals, or 2 jails, as it's spelled here on the BBC website. But it was a good performance from everyone. David Moyes works as hard on the training pitch, and everyone's enjoying working under him. We just need to keep this run going. We've got a difficult game at the weekend. Hopefully we can keep it going. So, yeah, we're enjoying ourselves, which again alludes to what we said. It's a good unit there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Gnome. Thank you for bringing us up to date with David Moyes' latest comments there. I did just want to point out quickly that I said Liverpool would get an extra 24 hours. 24 hours less than West Ham. Of course, it will be 48 hours because they're playing Tuesday and getting this all wrong. They're playing Thursday, and it is only Tuesday. I was thinking it's Wednesday, but of course it isn't. It's
the derby that you wish both teams could lose. Tottenham, Liverpool, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. So West Ham will have, a distinct advantage there in terms of recovery time, and I'm sure Mr. Klopp will be pointing that out at some point, especially if the result doesn't go their way.
They had more recovery time over Christmas than all but about three teams. And the 3 teams were like Brighton, Palace, and Fulham, or something like that. It wasn't, So yeah, it's the usual thing. They'll complain when it suits them, but they won't have the leg to stand on.
No, certainly won't. And let's hope he is left complaining come Sunday evening when Liverpool travel to West Ham for their not their next games. Their next game's at Spurs, but the next game after that. XG stat I can give you for tonight's game. Of course, it finished West Ham 3, or Palace 2, West Ham 3. XG stats, Crystal Palace 0.63 to West Ham's 3.3. That's the expected goals statistic. So Palace doing rather better than they expected to. But I suppose that's fair enough, given they only had 2 or 3 shots after scoring that goal right at the start. West Ham's XG 3.3 being borne out by the fact that we scored 3 goals. So fairly accurate there. Once again, West Ham restricting their opponent to an XG of less than 1, which is pretty damn good. Rio, should we be disappointed that we conceded 2 goals tonight? Gnomes know that doesn't really know what's going on there, but we'll get Pinky to explain it to you a bit later.
No, don't. I actually quite like being the only person on this thing who hasn't got a clue what an XG is, and I think I'd like to keep it that way.
Yes, Rio, should we be disappointed by the fact we've conceded a couple of goals tonight?
I think that we will be, and I think we've every right to be. So the first goal, we just won at the races when the game kicked off. It was sloppy, and after the run we've had, we've conceded only 1 in 5. Was it 1 in 6? I think they'd be absolutely gutted about that. Yeah, and the one at the end, we was 3-1 up. We'd absolutely battered them. The old boxing analogy, as mentioned earlier, the tail would have been thrown in ages ago. Yeah. So everyone was kind of switched off, and they're back in the dressing room, as Gnome said. So It's two lapses of concentration, really, which has cost, which on another day could have cost us.
Yeah.
So I think as a unit, I think as a unit, Moyes would be looking at that, saying, you know what, if you want to maintain where we are in this league, if you want to improve as a club, we have to eradicate those kind of moments. But that is taking a little bit of gloss off of what was an absolutely amazing performance. But it's the only negative we've got tonight, isn't it? So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't want to, pour cold water on what we've achieved here tonight. It's been a fantastic win, but I'm just sort of looking at that, thinking that we've had issues with West Ham conceding at the start of halves, especially the second half, lately sort of switching off after the interval. And, you look at that tonight, goal conceded after 3 minutes, goal conceded in the 6th minute of added on time. So, I just wonder if that's something we need to sort of still look at, is that consistency from the first minute to the 90th minute or the 96th minute or whatever. But I totally agree with you. I think, to be critical, there would be a case of picking holes where, there aren't any to necessarily pick from. But anyway, so one more thing I want to touch on before we do wrap up for the night. Sorry, no, were you signalling there, or do you want?
Yeah, I was just going to say, consider where we were just over 12 months ago, and what a mark of how far we've come in that 12 months. That we're sitting here talking about being slightly disappointed after winning a game 3-2. 12 months ago, we'd have sold our firstborn for a win against anybody. Never mind coming away with it and thinking we should have won that by a lot more. So, and it's healthy that, and David Moyes has said that. I mean, it's not just us saying that, but it's, it's being said. And just to cheer Peaky up, so it's just come up that Southampton are now 2-1 down to Arsenal. But, what a, fair play to Mr. Moyes that he's disappointed, we're disappointed. Okay, well, at the end of the day, that probably doesn't matter as much to a certain degree, but we're spotting this sort of thing.
Yep.
We know it's being looked at. So, that was all. It was just as a sort of as a measure how far we've come. Yeah. I
mean, it's an excellent point. It's a completely valid point, of course. And
worth hanging on for then.
I mean, I suppose this is the thing about being West Ham supporters. We're always looking for things to be critical of, because we're not used to everything going so smoothly as it has been since the turn of the year. Anyway, this is a lovely stat. This is a great stat from our friend Xander on the KUMB.com forum. Xander writes, in 2021, Craig Dawson has scored more goals than Liverpool Football Club. What about that one, eh? Would have been a good one to end the night on, but there is one subject I want to chat about quickly before we do wrap up. Pinky, I'll come to you first on this one. Jesse Lingard. Looks like he's on his way to the club. What do you think about that one?
I mean, I'm assuming a loan.
It looks that way. Yeah,
I'm not sure, if I'm honest here. The way I tend to view where we are currently, I'd only sign a player if he's better than what's in our first 11. So I think the way you advance up the table consistently is every player you sign has got to be good enough to displace a player that's already got the shirt. It doesn't mean he necessarily will, but he's got to be able to do so. Yeah. And that's just about applying pressure to the people with the shirt to say, do you know what? You just tail off in your performance just a bit, and we're giving that jersey to somebody else. And I'm not sure that Lingard is better than what we have at this point in time. And therefore, he falls into the category of pair of legs just as we start to run out of them, kind of thing.
Okay.
So as a short-term stopgap, I can see something in it. But really, and thinking further ahead to the summer, I just want us to adopt that mentality of, if they're not good enough to go into the first team, don't sign them. Yeah, because I touched on it last week. Forever, we've been willing to compromise, square pegs in round holes, because he can do a job. Well, we don't want that. We want people who are masters of their craft and good enough to say, dare I say it, who's going to put pressure on Declan Rice? That's how good teams get better. Is they look at the best player in their team and say, we'll go and sign a better player. Jesse Lingard isn't in that category for me. So squad filler, you're going to run out of legs at some point, and that's what he's there to do.
Okay.
But I just hope it isn't a sign of the long-term thinking of the club.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you. And thank you, as always, Pinky, for all your contributions throughout the evening. It's been great chatting to you, as always, throughout the night. Gnome, Jesse Lingard, yes or no for you?
He's not getting a game at the moment, is he, at Old Trafford, which sort of tells you something. Where would you put him in our team? Where would you actually physically, what position would you put him in? I mean, he's a sort of vague midfielder sort of player that's, you're always vaguely aware when he's playing because you hear the name, but he's one of those players that, by and large, when he's on the pitch, he's often, he might do a job and put in a shift, but he's not someone you sort of think, telly's coming on. Oh, let's have a look. Is Lingard playing? Oh, this would be interesting, sort of thing, like you do with a lot of other players. So, I mean, I think at the moment I'm inclined to put a fair bit of trust in David Moyes, and if Moyes thinks it's a good deal and that the signing will improve things, then given what we've seen this season and where we are, I'd be happy to go along with it. But it wouldn't be somebody on my personal radar. But then, I don't think I'm allowed to pick Messi, am I? So,
do you think this is a Moyes signing then? I mean, because we know obviously they worked together when Moyes was at Manchester United, so he will know the player.
Yeah, but for sure. And I think if the situation is that Moyes wants him, and if Moyes doesn't want him, I think Moyes has earned himself enough clout there now at the moment to say that's a player I want or that's a player I don't want. And it's just Man City have just gone 4-0 up against rather hapless West Brom, who must be wishing they were Wolves at the moment. I'm sure Lingard won't be coming to I almost said the bowling there, to the Olympic if Moyes doesn't want him. So if Moyes wants him, then I'm happy to go along with that at the moment.
Okay. Trust in Moyes, says Gnome. Gnome, as always, thank you very much for your contributions tonight. Been great chatting to you again throughout the evening, and thank you for getting the opposition's name right tonight throughout the game as well.
Don't worry, won't happen again.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you. Rio, finally, Jesse Lingard came through the Manchester United youth system. Plenty of first team experience there, played for England plenty of times. Great signing for West Ham, surely.
I have got huge reservations about it. On a personal level, I've never really rated him. Added on to that, of all the places that we need to bolster our squad and strengthen, where Lingard plays is not one of them. It's probably the area that we least need to strengthen in. The other two things, we're an incredibly happy camp. We look together as a unit. We look really, really happy as a squad. Will someone like Lingard, whose disappearance from the Man United side has been down to some personal issues, will he come in and disrupt that? Because I do not want that. You do not want to disrupt a happy camp, and I fear that Lingard potentially could do that. My final reservation is history is littered with us taking off cast-offs from the likes of Manchester United and Liverpool and then failing miserably. And I just think it'd be another one added to the list. And I really don't think it's a necessary signing. I mean, if Moyes wants him, fine. Like Gnome, you've got to trust him. He's done a marvellous job so far. I'm not going to criticise that. But I really don't think he's the player we need in the position we need. And I don't want him coming in and disrupting things when everyone looks so united and happy.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to think of a player we've brought from Manchester United who's been a real success at West Ham since Stuart Pearson. And
Yeah,
am I
exactly.
forgetting anybody? Yeah.
No, I mean, funny enough, that was the first name that came in my head just as you were saying that. So, you know,
Yeah, Mill might have done, but
yeah, he was sold to us. Pearson was sold to us with in the knowledge we were taking a bit of a punt on the grounds that he had iffy knees, and I mean, this is back in the day that when you had a knee op, it wasn't keyhole surgery, and you know, you were, the second you had a knee operation back then, you were living on borrowed time as a player. So, but even then, he did well considering. But you know, he was injury hit. I'm struggling to think of.
It's not just us, though, is it? History is littered with players who leave bigger clubs like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Ronaldo, etc.
Yeah.
Fringe players leaving the big clubs never go on to achieve anything anywhere else because they thought, "Oh, I've made it at Manchester United. I made it at Liverpool."
Yeah. Look at Benteke.
No. Benteke.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's loads, isn't there? There's tons of.
First registered when he was walking off.
yeah, it's true. I agree with you, Rio. I mean, to me, if they're not good enough for Manchester United, they're not good enough for West Ham. You know, we're still Premier League team, and Pinky, I can see you laughing, but you know, I think the point's sound. You know, the reason they're getting rid of them is not because they're a first team player. They're not considered good enough for the first team squad, are they? I mean, that's why Lingard's going.
I've spoken many times in the past about not signing players on the way down in their career structure.
Yeah,
because of the areas that Rio's just touched on there. You know, they're on the way down.
Yeah.
Generally, I'd look for players who are on the way up. Who would see that they've actually, or who you can say to, you've got something to prove coming here, because do you know what? We're the big noise, we're West Ham United, and for you to get here, you've got to earn the right to stay here. Sometimes you sign players from clubs that are so-called bigger clubs.
Yeah.
They think, well, I'm the great I am, and you're lucky to have me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For all that, Moyes just might be looking at this and going, I need an option to Lanzini, as an attacking midfielder. He might just say, between now and the end of the season, he might be saying to David Sullivan, maybe Lingard, as a lone player, maybe he could chip in with 4 or 5 goals. You know, they're the goals that Lanzini might not be providing at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
And just say, do you know what? For the cost of his wages and maybe a small loan fee, let's see what we can do here. And so if the manager wants him, I can understand it. Then you say back him. But it's generally my rule of thumb is they have to be good enough to start in the first team. That's the starting point, because that's how you get stronger. So we'll see how it turns out. I mean, I think he will arrive. But I just feel that we need an out-and-out finisher more than anything. And you know, you look at that tonight and you've got, Antonio should have got home with the match ball, but he didn't. And that's the point.
Yes, I suppose if we had one of those in the team, it could have been 5 or 6. But anyway, we're not going to complain tonight, are we? It's been a great... And of course, the other point about Lingard is, Pinky, is you're right. I totally agree with what you're saying. You know, you want to bring young, hungry players in. Lingard's 28 years old, and you know he's pretty much at his peak in terms of football. But a youngster, he certainly ain't, is he? You know, we're a year and a bit away from his 30th birthday. So, but of course, as Gnome says, and I totally agree. In Moyes we trust. You know, he's not put a foot wrong since coming back to the club just over a year ago, and he's doing wonders at the moment with the squad he's got. And of course, it is a small squad, diminishing by the week, with a couple of players having gone already in this transfer window, and we're still waiting for some to come in. It looks like Lingard is going to be the first of those. Whether or not a striker follows, we shall see, and we'll certainly find out by next week anyway, when the transfer window closes. Rio, thank you for your contributions also tonight, my friend. Been great chatting with you as always, and also for finding us those difficult stats that I keep throwing on you at the last minute. So thank you very much. Couple of suggestions actually for Man U players that we've brought in. Chris Mulhall mentions Teddy Sheringham, fair play. Very good player, you know, in the autumn of his career at West Ham. But as for Mark English's Roy Carroll and Nick's Ravel Morrison, I'm not so sure about that. Interestingly, Alex Ferguson said a lot of good words about Jesse Lingard, as he did with Ravel Morrison. Mark English also mentioning Lou Macari, who came in and no one's ever going to convince me that Lou was a bad manager. I just think it just didn't work out for him at the time, and you know that was his own fault, I guess. But brought some very good players to the club, of course. That's it for tonight. It's been a fantastic night for West Ham. We've beaten Crystal Palace by 3-2. It could have been 7 or 8. Utterly dominant, said Pinky in his summary of the match at the end of the final whistle. And that's exactly what happened. It was never in doubt. West Ham fell behind after 3 minutes, but goals from Thomas Souček in the 9th and 25th minute, followed by Craig Dawson header in the 65th minute, put West Ham well ahead, 3-1 ahead before Batshuayi scored in the 7th minute of added on time to give a sheen of respectability to the scoreline that Palace never really deserved. They were thoroughly outplayed by a completely informed West Ham United, who are up to 4th in the Premier League. Let me repeat that. West Ham are 4th in the Premier League in the Champions League spots right now, above Tottenham, above Liverpool, above Chelsea, above Arsenal, and all those other half-rate teams that are struggling this season. It's Liverpool on Sunday. It's a big test. Could be a fight for a Champions League spot. Who knows? We shall find out very soon. Thank you to everyone who joined us on the live stream. It's been great having you with us as always. If you haven't done so already, subscribe down there, somewhere around there, to be notified when we're on air in future. My thanks to my team here tonight, the rest of the team, to the Pink Palermo, to Rio, to Gnome, and also to David Moyes for making us all very, very happy hammers tonight. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.